Welcome to the WardiTV Summer Cup Group B. I'm going to be starting the day off with Shameless versus Alex, and going to do all of Alex's matches in the start of the day. Him versus Shameless, SHIN, and Percival. He's the underdog, so we'll see if he causes any upsets, and then we'll kind of go from there and work our way through the rest of the games that remain. 6 best of 3 is coming up today, and we'll see what we do after and get done. We'll see how long these 6 best of 3s take us. I got a washout for opening map. Perfect. So they've vetoed up and we're pretty much ready to go. Perfect. It's just going to be muted. Seems cool. Looks as though we're going to be good. Again, hello. Hope everyone is doing well. We can get ready to kick off into some action. As our players are readying up, so we should be able to go as well. Like I say, 6 best of 3s in the Summer Cup. Today, we already had Solar and Yakov make playoffs out of Group A. Today, 2 of SHIN, Percival, Shameless, and LetaleX will make it as well. I mean, SHIN obviously a pretty heavy favorite to make it out of this Group 2. Would be a third Zerg in the playoffs already. Could be really cool. Let's have a look to see what happens. Is in the top right-hand corner. We're going to have ourselves the blue Protoss player. This is going to be LetaleX. Qualified in. Didn't even need the invite. Actually qualified. Beat Zaun in the qualifiers, which is very impressive. Zaun is no slouch, and even in a PvP, that is an impressive result from LetaleX. Again, showing the ability that he consistently shows, which is that he's good enough to take maps and series off of some very good players, which makes him a very fun player to watch. Definitely a newer name on the scene. As in the bottom left, our red Protoss player is going to be Shameless. Let me get this ready to rumble. Alrighty, game number 1, BO3, starting up as we speak. So, gates, probes, I'm just going to come across, just going to have ourselves the simulator dropping into position already, that gate coming down on both sides of the map. The probes will continue through. And yeah, we got our gates coming about, the assimilator coming online. Just going to be slow going. Obviously, we'll wait for the second gateway to come online. Should give us a little bit more intrigue as to how this game is going to start playing out. How's everyone doing in the chat and everything? Hope everyone is feeling well. Apparently we weren't even on TL calendar. Crazy. Got that fixed up now. Got that fixed up. Yeah, fun week actually coming up, because tomorrow we got Kung Fu Cup action as well. That should be a lot of fun. And then we have a couple more days of Summer Cup. We round out the Summer Cup group stages by Friday. I take Saturday off, I think, this week, and then Sunday is going to be an OSC King of the Hill, I believe. So, got a full week of StarCraft 2 pretty much coming up. Cycle just finishes on the left-hand side. It is going to be Shameless with a Robo. Ooh, this probe saw where this probe was coming from, though, so he's going to go check, and Alex is going to find the Robo straight away. It's kind of a funnily placed Robo. It's not super far forward. It's just kind of hidden out on the map. You see what Shameless does with it is now you're obviously very committed, and your opponent knows what's going on with it, too, so you have to figure that out. Let's see, the Stalker is going to be having that push on probe. And just getting chased away. It's going to be a little grab robo facility, just going to get the prism so we can apply some pressure. The biggest issue here is going to be the fact that your robo is obviously on the map. So if you lose map control, that's going to be something that Alex can then maybe pick off later on and kind of take that away from you. And that's obviously a major tech structure that is typically useful throughout the game, the robo, because eventually you can make disruptors out of it. Obviously, observers are always a good thing, and your prism, if you lose one, is always a good thing as well. These are all generally seen as pretty hefty positives. The adepts get in. Gonna get in after 2 or 3 probes here to start us off, make a 4th probe. Just gonna see the probes rallying around. Just gonna get this grab as well. That adept is gonna get cleaned up for the moment. The prism loads up the adept, just gonna be bringing it over toward the top. And again, a couple more sentries continue to be on the way. 5 workers killed was not a bad start. Now obviously LetaleX is on a much faster nexus, and he's already up 5 workers despite just losing 5. So his economy is great still, and it's definitely necessary for Shameless to get some damage done with these adepts. And he's going to get at least a few more probes here. He gets 1, he gets 2. The rest of the probes running, but 1 on the gas stayed still. That's very annoying for Alex, who obviously feels like he's got such an advantage on the economy, but is having it chipped away at quite quickly right now. Obviously, what we're seeing in PvP, because of this gateway production being so fast now, is that if you take a fast expansion, you can typically have a lot of units very early to play defense with. So expanding into this super early kind of expansion and kind of going with this seems to be very safe at the moment. And see what Shameless does to try and break it down. There's plenty of force fields here. Of course, the prism can lift you away from the force fields as necessary. Adept is going to get caught. A couple more force fields coming down as well. Stalkers and the sentry still gather up. Prism just going to go around the top. Immortal's going to strike a couple more times. Just going to be seeing that battery trying to heal up a little further. Immortals continue to put some more work in. Just going to be seeing these Immortals continue to shoot through. And the Stalkers still taking a little bit of damage extra. Stalkers and the sentry continue to come back around. Again, the Immortal coming up from the robo facility. And just going to have 2 more Stalkers warping in from Shameless as well. Ready for a push onto this natural expansion. Sentries, Stalkers all gathered. A little energy recharge going to go in onto the sentries. As we go for a push. A couple force fields come straight down here. We do have ourselves... Man, 3 Immortals is going to be hard to chew through. I mean, I like the force fields. I like the set of Alex, but can we actually have the damage output to deal with multiple Immortals? You're obviously so kind of Stalker heavy out of these gateways. And yeah, the Prism is in a very safe position in the back as well. And these Immortals have not even gotten close to really going down. They're very safe still, even with the, even this one here. Very safe considering the Prism's nearby. We knock down the pylon powering the batteries, and Alex gets overrun. Shameless will be good to take an opening game of this BO3. So Shameless strikes strongly to start us off. We'll head into a game 2 in a second. The players were hosting for us, so we'll let them host because I'm not sure what the next map is. And we'll get that ready to resume. Do 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 do. Alright, let's jump in as we have to the upper left-hand side. It is going to be our Blue Protoss player, LetaleX, as we kick off into a second game. He's down a map. Let's see if he can bounce back. Again, qualified off the back of PvP, so we'll see if he can PvP his way back into this series. And bottom right, our red Protoss is going to be Shameless. Dcash 11B, thank you for the 25-month resub on the Prime. Hello, Twinhead Dragoon. I just started this game and I'm scared. I don't need to be scared. I mean, there's a lot to learn in StarCraft, but enjoy it, have fun, play the campaigns, get a feel for it, learn a little bit. Let's see if Alex tries to expand again once more here. And says yes, it's going to drop a Nexus down on the other side of the map pretty much immediately, so there you go. Dcash 11p with the 5 gifted subs. Yo, thank you so much for a generous start of the day. Gonna go out to Cast Ironbird, Ponyo Bonyo, Velocity 1G, back to Warcraft, and Man Brave GG. Thank you, Dcash, for your own sub, the 5 gifted subs. Appreciate the support. Thank you so much. Especially right now, we're battling the 500 subscriber mark over the last couple of streams, so nice to get a little bump back over. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thanks for what I do. No worries. Thank you so much for supporting it. I really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Next is going to finish on both sides of the map very shortly. Sentry won't get on the way, just going to be seeing the Adept is on his way from Shameless. He expands quickly as well, so both players are going to hit the 1-gate expansion on this one. And just have the Sentry. Going to go Hallucination on the go, and just going to be bringing that down to that bottom right side over these next couple of moments. So bringing that across. Sentry in the store gathering, just going to be seeing this Hallucination continue to make its way over then. Adept will be shading around a little bit too. Stalker Sentry still gathering up, and again, the Hallucination going to be moving for a little bit also. Number of facilities about to be done. There is that Forge on the way. I mean, if you're both going to expand, you're both going to go Robo, something like a Forge really does start to set you apart a little bit, right? Getting a Forge faster than your opponent is going to mean that you are going to have access to that upgrade while your opponent will not, so seems like a pretty big deal. And then a couple sentries in the Stalker pulling back towards the top side. The Adept is going to get cleaned up. A few probes there to help play the nibbling game and to shut a little bit of that down too. Hallucination just going to go a little bit of a journey over to that left-hand side. A couple Stalkers, the sentries all gather up. Twilight Council Forge. A few more probes from everybody. The Mortal and the +1. The Stalker continue to build as well. And this Hallucination of Shameless makes its way into the Naturals. A couple sentries here already. Just going to go nibbling onto the Hallucination. Put some work in. Get some damage done. What's up, Sort of? Thank you for the raid again. Well, that sort of raid streak, it feels like. Thanks so much. Welcome, everybody. We are in our first series of the day. It's WardiTV Summer Cup Group B. We have SHIN and Percival in this group as well. It's round robin, so everyone will play everyone. So we're getting the PvP out the way early, and that means that we'll have no more mirrors the rest of the day into after this. I believe LetaleX versus SHIN up next, then versus Percival, and then we'll be going into maybe the favorites of this group after that as well, against each other to round it out. And we are just starting to see some tech come up in this PvP too. The Resonating Glaives on its way from LetaleX, so giving himself kind of an immortal Adept kind of timing attack while Shameless goes to the third base. Big Hallucination scout right now from Shameless. He's going to see the Twilight Council working. He's going to see extra gates. He's also going to know no third base, right? So he's going to start putting the pieces of this puzzle together. And the answer is going to be, okay, seems like I'm probably going to get attacked. Now he's going to try and reciprocate what his opponent is doing in a very similar way. Get Glaives himself. He obviously was a little bit ahead on the Forge and hence the +1. Overall, these upgrades are probably both going to be finished. Glaives is probably going to be done, but not for Shameless. So Alex will probably have a Glaives advantage, at least at the start of the fight. Depends if he goes straight away. If Glaives is done and he's not ready to hit at that moment, there is a chance Glaives is done by Shameless before we actually see the fight break out. We got to go here and hit hard as LetaleX, because you are the player who's committed to making sure that this does damage, because you don't have a third base. So if you do not succeed on this attack, this is a disaster for you. One of the differences right now is you have to make the warp gates as LetaleX, whereas you don't have to pay that cost as the defender because you can rally the adepts out of these gates manually. Now, they're not going to join the fight straight away, but it's actually still a big factor having, spent gas on those warp gates. It takes away a little bit of the power of this push. Being the aggressor in Protoss versus Protoss, a little bit tougher than before with those extra taxes you got to pay to get all set up. Prism overhead, Immortal, Stalker, Adept, and Sentries. You want to come around as well, moving back over to the right side. More units warping in, the Adepts coming by. Just going to be seeing the Adepts and the Immortal coming over as well and getting ready to fire. A couple shots coming down, the Force Field's already coming through. Sentries and Stalkers getting hits. Immortals are going to continue to deal some damage as you pull back beyond these Force Fields. This is not doing enough for LetaleX at all. Shameless having his own glaives completed just means that he has his own Adepts that are just as feisty and just as powerful. He's down a couple of Immortals. Problem is if he's got a lot more buffer than his opponent, he's going to be able to keep working on those Immortals very comfortably. But Alex steps back. He started third base behind this, but it's not really going to be enough. Man, PvP is such a great example of just how good kind of gateway production is versus warp gate production. Because this was LetaleX who committed. They both did very similar things, just Shameless went to a third base and then did it. And LetaleX went to the third base after he did it, right? So LetaleX just says, I'm more committed, but the cost of being the aggressor, the 100 gas you spend here, having to warp in, the delay of those warp-ins as well. Like, don't forget that obviously you can just build units way more quickly out of these gateways too, so really just showing that being the aggressor in a similar versus similar setup here as in PvP is just not going to work anymore if the defender responds appropriately, which was, this was obviously more than an appropriate response. Now an Immortal drop to start getting some probes as well. Shameless will pick away at the economy of LetaleX, who will lose a bunch of workers early. 5 probes go down almost instantly. And we have a couple of Adepts on the other side that probes are going to pull into. Shameless is pushing with the main army though. He's about to go jump at the front. He has so many Adepts. He's still down on the Immortal count. If you can force a couple of Immortals to stay in the Prism in the main defensively, and then hit this front with all of these Adepts, then the Immortal disadvantage may not matter too much. 2 more Force Fields coming straight down. Just don't see us having the firepower. Like I say, even with the Immortals, I just don't see the firepower being there for LetaleX. He's actually not got an Immortal advantage as well. I didn't see Shameless actually has 4 Immortals. Yeah, I thought he only had the 2 still for some reason. But no, he has 4, so with the extra gateway units in front, he's looking very confident, very comfortable. It's funny because at this point I think it would be better for LetaleX if he wasn't on the warp gates, like if he morphed them back into gateways. But he's just not going to get the chance to really see this through. It's kind of crazy as well, right? Because if you're making Adepts and so quickly, you can kind of do it off of less production. Like, you're not going to have to add on as many gates as before, because you can stay constant on production with like 4 gates for a much longer time. Warp gate changes continue to be probably the most interesting change we've had as of late. They continue to make things look very different and very unique playstyles coming from them, and they've completely changed the world of PvP, of course, as well, which is, typically a matchup that sees all of the proxies, all of the aggression, and this and that and whatever else. PvP starts to look a little bit different too. GG's, that's going to be our first match of the day. We're going to head on over to the NA server for pretty much the rest of the day. We have a quick pit stop on Korea at some point for SHIN versus Percival. That will be Series 5. But the order from here on out looks like this. LetaleX versus SHIN for some PvZ. Then LetaleX plays his final matchup of the group against Percival. Shameless will make a return to play against SHIN. And then SHIN will finish off his matches against Percival in match 5. Meaning our last match of the day, Percival versus Shameless, will round us out as we fight over 2 spots in the playoffs of this WardiTV Summer Cup, a $1,000 tournament. And the top 4 also qualify directly into the WardiTV Summer Championship. Not just qualifying in, but you actually get a high seed, which means that you get to start deeper in the tournament than anybody else. So that high seed obviously goes a long way. We've seen it in the previous couple of WardiTV 2026 series events as well. That's going to be very true here once again in this one. Ooh. All right. Yeah, well, I said it was Alex versus SHIN, right? So I'll just find SHIN, who is currently missing. Send him a quick message, and we'll get this underway. Fairly quick PvP to start. Maybe SHIN's just a little slow to join us. Hopefully get him here soon and we get this ready to go. Do. Ba-da-bum, bum, bum, bum. Alright, as I mentioned, SHIN, hopefully you're soon. Might just be in a lot of game or something. Might just take a few moments. Again, hope everyone is doing great. Thank you so much for joining us today. It's good to be with you guys for some StarCrafts. Boom, boom, boom. Let me see if we can check Korea for shit. Not here in a couple minutes. I think Percival's around already, so we could just skip a match for now and come back to it or so. SHIN's just in a 20-minute ladder game. I'm sure you'll be with us soon then. He's streaming too, so we can go have a look at what's going. Cool. She's not playing Protoss. Alright, I can't full screen it because I'm watching on TL. Let's have a look. He's playing versus a Terran, and he has no money banked. The Terran has at least 6 bases. So he's just going a long game, guys. We'll give it a few minutes. Not too worried about continuing through quickly. So yeah, just waiting a little bit, guys. How's everyone doing in the chat? Again, hope you're all doing well. Thank you for joining us for the Summer Cup today. Good to see you guys with us. Looks like the Terran... Okay, maybe... It feels like the Terran's kind of dead. SHIN showed up and like the Terran's army's still half HP and he's not fought him for like 5 minutes. He's not fought him since I started watching, so the fact the army's half HP is not a great sign. So I got the feeling we're probably winning this one with SHIN soon enough. soon enough. Well, just chilling then, guys. Like I said, it'll take a few moments. If you're on the YouTube, take a moment to hit the like and subscribe. Helps out massively. Super easily done. Does not take much, and goes a long way to help us out. So, give it a little click. Helps us out a little. Always appreciate it. We are approaching. We've slowed back down, but we are once again approaching the 50,000 subscriber mark still on YouTube. We have 47,000. Are we still in the 700s? 749,788. So we're 212 away. The build-up is real. We're so close. It has been a grind. It's kind of crazy because after 50k, like I guess the next goal is 60k, right? But like 60k is legitimately like years upon years away at this point. I mean, 40k to 50k has been a long grind as well. It's kind of crazy. Yeah, Shin's delayed by Terran. He doesn't know when to leave the game, I think, guys. That's looking pretty grim for the Terran play he's playing against. Shin has like 6 Colossus. Well, the Terran player is actually fighting through the Colossus. Oh my god. No way. He's done the Terran thing of having an army. He's done the Terran thing of just having an army and just winning the game with it. Oh my god. I was wrong. I was wrong. Shin too busy testing Protoss. Yeah. That's good to test the other races, man. I think playing off race at least to a certain level is smart, right? You help understand how certain things feel, help you understand how certain things go. It's obviously nice to see from the, you know the game from your perspective, but seeing the game from your opponent's perspective can be very, very useful a lot of the time. I just don't think Shin can win this game anymore. Which is really wild, because this felt like... It looked like Shin was in complete control. The Terrans had bases just being denied repeatedly. Terran late game armies are nuts, man. It's not even a super late game army, it's just bio. It's just the Protoss army. The Protoss army sucked even though it was super Colossus heavy. Crazy. Truly, there's no way that the Terran doesn't have more units. It's a wild game. Like I said, it's on Shin's stream if you guys want to check it out. But it's been a from what I've watched of it, it's been pretty crazy. Obviously, I don't want to restream his stream or something, but yeah. He actually did clean up the Terran. He's at 90 supply. The Terran is re-establishing the bases he just lost a couple minutes ago. Just can't imagine that there's not enough Terran to overwhelm. But I mean, I thought the Terran was in a bad place, and then the army did really well. So maybe the Terran's reproduction build-up behind this has been rough. Oh, Shin just checked the Shin just checked Discord and quit out. No. Ay. Alrighty, guys. Shin and Alex will be going soon. Going in a moment. Alright, we will get our video started, guys, as Shin has arrived. We can get this one set up in a couple moments. Get this ready to party into some more StarCraft. Thank you for joining us again. Appreciate you all being here and hanging out with us. Get ready to go in just a few moments' time. Do 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 do. Bum, 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 bum. Alright, come videos coming through, guys. Get that started up. Alright, we vetoed Fear and Faith, Rorschach, Olsen Temple, Lockdown. 2 more vetoes. And we'll get this ready to go, guys, in the Summer Cup. I'll just bring the bracket up for a second. I know we've been waiting for a while. Just show you guys the bracket. Obviously, again, Solar and Yakov came out of Group A. Nightmare and Nicorrect eliminated. Shameless, SHIN, Percival, and Alex fight in Group B. Zaun, Kua, Mixu, and Christian. It's actually a very fun group because I think Christian is good enough to challenge in this group, and Mixu maybe can bring the Zerg power to it as well. And Group D is a banger as well. This was not meant to be quite as much of a banger, but Hero came in as a last-minute player on Group D. And so they lost their kind of low seed, and Hero replaced the low seed, so Group D is, yeah, a bit of a deadly one as well. So that's, I'm sure, going to be a good time. As we should be able to get into our first map in a second. We've got one more veto to come from Shin, and once he's vetoed, we will be good to go, go, go. Good to go, go, go. Again, hope everyone is doing well today. Thank you for joining us for the stream. Good to have you with us. Do, 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 do. Rainfall going to be our opening map. We're playing West here as well, right? I believe West Central West is indeed what I said. Cool. I'm going to get Rainfall hosted up here, get this one going. Rainfall into a washout map too. Beautiful stuff. Alright, we should be good to go in just a second. Thank you for the patience, guys. I'm not going to be upset at Shin. He played a ladder game that started like 50, while these guys were still in game 1 of their series. These, the PvP went short, his ladder game went long. That's not an issue. We're pretty laid back. It's not a super long day either, so waiting a couple minutes here and there. It's really not a big deal. So, yeah. As we get ready to roll. Let's kick this off. In the bottom right-hand side, we're going to have ourselves the blue Protoss player. This is going to be LetaleX. Let's see if he can bounce back in this group after an 0-2 start in his first match of the day. He takes on Shin, who's definitely going to be a challenge. I think favorite of this group, especially considering his... well, he lost to Percival yesterday in the Monday Cup, and he actually has Percival in this group as well. So maybe he's not favorite in this group, but he's definitely a favorite of this group. I think a lot of people would be surprised if Shin did not advance from this group at the very least. It can happen though, like if Percival beats Shin again and then Shin falls to Shameless, which maybe is less likely in the current meta, just because I still don't know if PvZ is really figured out on the Protoss side, but, you know, like, there is a way in which SHIN doesn't advance from this group, but it would still be a little bit of, like, you know, both the matches where I typically favor SHIN would have to go the wrong way, right? So, it's not impossible, especially if you just have a bad day or so. It's always going to be something of a, you know, possibility, too. There's a gateway on its way up here from LetaleX. The probe still building out as well. Take ourselves this probe over toward the natural, and the drone continues over to the third base also for a few moments. Alright, Overlord heading down the bottom, this Overlord on the top, and between the bases hanging out too. Just going to see the assimilator finishing up on the main base. So we get that rounded out. Again, gateway coming over, probe is building, hatch gas pool coming up, the drone in production. I'm just going to see this Overlord still making its way across the map. I mean, early game PvZ, guys. Ain't a lot going on in the early game PvZ still, believe it or not. As such, we'll just take a couple calm moments, get ourselves established and follow this probe to see what's going on also. And next is the adept coming online. Just going to see the couple of queens and the lings and company coming up also. Continue to bring that over. Again, nothing too crazy for a few moments. Let's get ourselves settled in here. Try and see that what we can do. Obviously, a couple of drones to transfer. We have a first adept, which is going to be the most fun thing to follow right now. And we're going to go to the Stargate follow-up on this as well. Just going to have the adept pulling back then and sitting here. Not going to go just yet. A second adept will hit the other side of the map as well. We actually got a couple of lings over here. They're going to be an annoyance. We have one probe very low. We pull the other probes away. One of those lings is super low. Should be able to deal with the other ling kind of fine, but because all the probes ran up into the main base that were here, instead of sticking around to help fight, it becomes a little bit more awkward, and that ling tanks another shot because of the regen. Another adept ready soon. Now the adepts are going to try and make their way into the main base where there's a bunch of lings, and we are just going to walk right into it. We do free ourselves from the surround for a second. Oh, this is a very good defense from SHIN. He's going to get rid of the first adept. The second adept is in trouble. Ling speed finishing. And LetaleX just falling apart a little bit. Distracted by the two lings on the other side. Probably felt pressured to get in and to start making things happening on the top side. As now these lings headed back down to the right. Nexus is going to drop into position. A couple probes in the warp gate coming up as well. The lings are going to wrap right around here. Just going to see that Nexus killed. Again, the drones and the queen continue to come up just for a few moments. And again, the Nexus probe and warp gate will continue to move about. Alright, Council starting from LetaleX. So we'll see his follow-up coming through. Obviously now the oracles are available. It's still very standard from LetaleX. Nothing really too surprising at all in the grand scheme of things, I think it's fair to say at the moment. And he's just going to get a wraparound on the Nexus again. So again, try and find a little bit extra. Nothing's going to end up turning here, so not going to find too much else. Take a couple seconds. And yeah, Rocharon continue coming about. Stalker and the Blink coming up as well. extra gates coming online. That blink coming through. The Oracle's been pushed back, so not really seeing much coming in there either for the moment. Well, Stalker's going to get here. Overlord will fall. Obviously just taking advantage of that a little bit right now as well, so we put some work in. Oracle, so just going to gather up. A couple of tumors coming around as well. On the top right is going to be seen, so SHIN already knows that the idea is going to be to obviously be quite aggressive. Obviously with the piling up, we are going to be warping these Stalkers in. It's going to be 6 gates, and we're just going to send it as LetaleX. So he's going to try and hit this big attack. Let's see if SHIN is being too greedy. He's up for 66 drones, which is a high number. That part is absolutely a high number. As the Stalker's coming down, the Ling's going to come back the other way. Overlord going down as well. Queen's coming back over the other side. I mean, honestly, LetaleX is doing pretty well for himself. SHIN really could do with these Hydras showing up right now. Otherwise, he's going to remain in some trouble. This 6 gateway Stalker attack is doing absolute wonders right here. And it's going to wrap around the Stalkers. Just not have too much and has to say GG, and LetaleX is going to take the opening map. That's huge, because one map score can actually be a big deal breaker in the grand scheme of things as well. So that is potentially a very big deal. Honestly, that is potentially a very big deal. Alright, we will go into game number 2, which is going to be Washout, and it's actually going to come over to being on LetaleX's server preference as well. So LetaleX getting the map. He's definitely the largest underdog of the day, I think it's very fair to say. So him getting a map win is, like I say, pretty shaky for SHIN, because if this comes down to some kind of weird tiebreaker, the map lost to LetaleX could absolutely be group deciding at the end. So, Bada-boom. Right, okay, ready and go. And we're gonna start counting down. Countdown is done, and let's get into game number 2. And with the 1-0 lead with the 6 gate Stalker attack in the top right, it is going to be our blue Protoss player, LetaleX. In the bottom left-hand side, our red Zerg is going to be SHIN. We get into game 2 here. Can SHIN bring it back then? Again, you would kind of expect it. He is the favorite here, for sure. So, you would expect SHIN to be able to find a way back into this, but let's see if he does. Okay, we will come down nearby for a couple seconds. Probe on the way, a couple of drones on the way through. Just gonna have that Overlord Heading to the upper right side, and the drone is going to make its way across the map as well. Early drone from SHIN. Hatchery block onto the natural is a possibility. He's just spent the money, so it looks as though it's already queued up. And it's going to be the hatch block from SHIN, so he's going to try and get a little bit creative here, and he's going to try and throw his opponent off quite a bit here as well. Seems to be the plan at the moment, so get this up and ready to go. That is going to be the plan. Let's see how it turns out. Pretty reasonable response. 4 probes in the Zealot is typically enough to knock that down. I feel like there's not usually 5 probes. I mean, the health is going down. As long as the health's going down, this is fine. It's never going to have enough HP when it finishes to build a queen. The main thing you don't want to have from this hatchery is A, you don't want to let the Evo chamber come down to block this further, and B, you don't want to let this you don't want to let the Evo chamber come down, and B, you don't want to have yourself, you know, get a queen, let this like live long enough for a queen to come out and that sort of stuff, because that becomes very messy as well. So definite reasons and ways and things that you want to try and avoid for the most part. As that probe comes across, drone is going to get nibbled for a little bit right now. Do. Following this drone. There is a Zealot and a Adept that went across the map. They're going to try and fight these Zerglings, which I have a tough time pushing this back. Queen is about to pop. That's a bit more consistent damage output. There's not really the damage here from the cross to take down a Queen. Maybe if it was like Zealot Adept versus only a Queen and the Lings would never show up, then sure, but second Queen shows up, the Lings are nearby, so it should just be fine. We are going to threaten with the Adepts. The Lings will say no by trying to be on top of them. Hey, now you actually do have a Queen that's kind of low because the Lings were forced to chase the Adept Shade, so we are going to kill a Queen. Wow. Shame to lose both the Adepts at the end, just because they could have just backed away and maybe come in again later with a Shade. Still pretty impressive though, no? That was very cool. That's very cool. Ling's going to get that Ling speed available, and we are going to start moving across towards the upper right-hand side of the map. The Adept and the Oracle continue to come over. Warp Gate is finishing soon. Oh, no! Not a wall-off means we're going to lose a couple of probes at least. I mean, if this Adept goes down, we can kill the Pylon as well. Just delay gateway production. I mean, the Oracle's going to be the main thing popping out here to help. But this is obviously just annoying already. Just, you know, lack of production on the Stalker. Man, the Stalker actually still nearly got out. The units build so fast now. Unfortunately, yeah, just letting those Lings in. You're just going to cause more chaos than you wanted to, right? A bunch of probes that have to pull is going to make this a problem for just a couple of seconds and so on and so forth. Oracle just activating, finding a little bit more opportunity. Going to get rid of another Zergling. Finally, this is cleaned up, but yeah, this Oracle uses all of its energy back at home, so no energy, well, okay, energy recharges, but less energy than it would have had otherwise to kind of be aggressive with. That in general is obviously not exactly going to be ideal. With high ground vision, we can once again make sure that the Silver Lord is going down. Drone's on the way up, the Carapace upgrade coming through. Again, extract off to the side, the few Queens gather up. There's drone. Gonna put hatchery down to the 6 o'clock as well. Hatchery comes straight into place, and the Oracles are going to go flying forward. Queens get underneath. Oracle already taking a lot of damage. We get only a single drone for a lot of HP lost. We go back in for a second drone kill, which, I mean, don't be wrong, we get the second drone kill. That part's great, but Not ideal overall. Melee and Carapace upgrades both building. Just going to have the oracles back up toward the top. Cyclones are going to make a run over to this right-hand side. We've got the battery coming down. A couple extra stalkers just got warped in. The Ling's going to wrap around onto a couple of those probes, and they're going to fall pretty quickly. So that battery drops. It's going to be a kill, not even a cancel. So a little bit of a mistake there. What do we set up for? Is this just... Wow, this is just 2 gateways, stalkers, oracles. Obviously not even a Twilight Council down. I mean, SHIN's just going to kill the third... Well, I guess there's an oracle here, but that's a lot of Lings. Is he actually going to lose his battery? It looks like he will. I mean, he's already re-expanding over here, so I guess he's just going to play off of this one, but... He's respecting this as though it's a big all-in, but there's only 2 gateways. If these stalkers just get home, I mean, there's also no blink on these stalkers, so... This is a very strange setup from Alex, and I feel like it's kind of working. Because SHIN is not really recognizing just how little there is from his opponent. Stalkers work their way home. The Oracle, again, big part of the defense. Ling's just been annoying on both sides. They have melee and carapace upgrades, and there's not even a Forge. Okay, Forge is on the way in the production tab now, but we're going to be well on the way to 2-2 before the first Protoss upgrade starts in this game. So we're going to be playing, I think, okay, he's going to throw down the road, but I was going to say, I think as LetaleX, you almost have to play in towards, like, I was going to say Storm. I think Storm makes sense, because if you throw down a Twilight Council, you get charge, and you can go to, you know, Temple Archives as well, and I think that's probably the route right now. It's going to be way too late to go into Blink. He built a second Robobay by mistake, by the way, so he needs to realize that happened, because that's quite a bit of money he's investing into essentially nothing at the moment. A cancel there could help him to afford a Colossus at some point. I think this will make a big run across the map. I mean, the Stalker in the wall is going to hold the wall, but that's not going to matter if the rest of the wall goes down. Ling's going to get a gateway and back off and lose very little. Until there's splash damage here, these Lings are going to absolutely feast on these situations. So yeah, they're going to have a very good time, almost no doubt, as the Lings back off. Lings and Festers, Hive on the way, 2-2 melee upgrades and Carapace on the way by as well. The rest of the Lings loop back around toward the top side. Bane's getting ready to roll in over on this direction. Just going to be seen. Uh-oh. One force field. Yeah, this field's unholdable with truly a lack of tech, basically, essential from LetaleX. I mean, you have minus 18 workers. Okay, don't get me wrong, like, a lot of the Lings die, but you're going to remass with even more Lings. You're going to have 2-2 very soon as well. Things are going to go running. Again, a couple more Infestors coming out, plus 2 melee and Carapace coming up. Neural Parasite is on the way through. Stalker's going to hit the few Lings just a couple more times over. Bosses are going to go laser beaming. And those Lings back away, back down the right. Yo, Pieman Jr., thank you for the Prime sub. 39 months. Hell yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it. Good to see you. Thank you for supporting. All Infestors, Adrenal Glands, Neural Parasite all coming up. A lot of Lings going to work their way around that right-hand side as well. Again, SHIN just keeping control of this game with those Zerglings so far, doing a good job of it, making sure to not let that slip away. Plus 3 Carapace comes down on Evolution Chamber in the background as well. It's going to get that plus 3 Carapace on the way through, plus 3 melee starting now in this other Evo Chamber. Again, Neural Parasite finishing very shortly. Thermal Lance about to complete. Stalkers, Sentries, Colossus still moving down at the bottom, potentially onto a lot of this group spread. So chunk more Zelds getting warped in. These Oracles still nearby. Lings on the left going to run through too. Recalling how much is going to show up. Bunch of Colossus, to be fair. I mean, hey, Shin's army is not ideal against the fact that there's Colossus out, but Ultra's still going to make a, make us think twice about that opinion at least. Like, Ultras really are a good answer to what is up right now, because there's nothing that really kills Ultras. You're going to, I mean, you should start building Immortals here, but obviously we haven't seen the Ultras yet necessarily. I mean, this right now could be scary, right? You hit just before Ultras, maybe you get a couple of the Ultras as they pop. There's never going to be a crazy number of them all at once. I mean, this is your moment from LetaleX. Like, this is absolutely your best opportunity. And hey, 2 of the Ultras are spawning on this base. I genuinely think that is like the best location you can be in right now, because if you kill these Ultras as they pop out, that is very good for you. Oh, but the flanking Infestors are going to Neural Parasite the Colossus. You don't see the Neural Colossi every day, but in this case, it's going to be utter destruction for that Protoss army as SHIN makes the move, and he is going to get himself a tied-up series 101 in this BO3. That's a fun one. I note that down. LetaleX, SHIN, Game 2, Colossus, Neurals. Or you guys can clip it for me if you want as well. Didn't they add AI for Twitch where it's like you can just say clip that, Twitch, clip that, and then it makes a clip? I have no idea if that actually works, but you can pretend it does if nothing else. Alright, game 3. What is our third map? I'm actually not sure. Viewed the 4-player maps. We have Rorschach, Lockdown, Blackrock. Just me trying to figure out the map is, guys. How to Eternity's Edge? How to Eternity's Edge for this next one. Alright, LetaleX and SHIN, if they're ready to go, we can start this off. Get this ready to go, go, go. LetaleX is ready. SHIN says go, go. And we go to a game 3 of this series, guys. When will some replays in the latest patch be released? I mean, yeah, I mean, they update the patch every week, so by the time I actually cast something, there's a new patch out. It's really tough to say. Like, I basically have no replays. Like, the only replays I have so far is, like, yesterday's Monday Cup and that Clem Hero show match from, like, day 1 of the patch. So I don't have a lot of replays to actually hand out in general, is the problem. Because it's just too soon. I want to put a replay pack out hopefully at the end of this week. Is probably going to be the plan. Just because we're actually casting every day this week. So if we put one out like end of this week or early next week after the Monday Cup, it's probably going to be like one of the better time frames we can kind of go for. So I think that will probably be our plan around. As we have SHIN over here in the top left-hand side, tying us up 1-1 in this series. In the bottom right, our right pros player is going to be LetaleX. Game 3 of our series. Proby is again, as per usual, out on the map doing its thing. Trying to see what's up, trying to see what's going on. just scout on through. So yeah, getting straight in for some info. Nothing too ridiculous there. But my voice is not holding up well today, is it? Jeez. Alright. Proby heading down. Let me have a drink. Cool. That might help. We got some links across the map as SHIN arrives. He went for that pool first, so he is going to have some links to be annoying with. He actually is going to catch the first Zealot, which is rough for LetaleX, to say the least, because now I think he's double pyloned on the wall, though, so it's not like killing one pylon is going to deny the Adept. We are going to pull probes. We want to try and make sure we keep as many of these probes alive as possible. Like I say, killing one pylon, it's annoying because you're going to lose power to the warp gate, but you're not going to actually lose the main thing here. I think it would have been much more problematic if we'd lost access to the Adept that was building, right? Still 2 probes killed, going to make it 3 here, as we just couldn't quite defend that on the left side. SHIN definitely showcasing his ability to control these units very well. We saw it kind of in the first game as well. I thought SHIN definitely showed kind of a little bit of a level above in terms of some of the micro he was showcasing, kind of some of the early trades and how they went and so on. One of those things are finally dealt with. Problem is now is, do you get to go on the map or not? Your warp gate got delayed, your entire setup got delayed, you lost a bunch of probe mining time as well, so that's hence, believe it or not, delayed. All of this just making it a lot more awkward for you in general to kind of play out this game now. I do see a bunch of extra gates coming down from Alex, and one of them is going to be over the left-hand side. In fact, 2 of them are. 3 of them are, so he's going to try and hide the all-in that's coming by proxying multiple of the gates. If you check the main base as SHIN, you're not going to necessarily see the gate count, and so you don't know how aggressive your opponent's being. The problem is that there is actually an Overlord. Oh, it actually stopped moving. I was going to say this Overlord was on its way, but it actually stopped shy of the gateways, so he doesn't see them. I mean, at least he'll get a little bit of a heads up on the units, but... Okay, I mean, I wonder if we're just going to... Yeah, this might not even be a warp gate angle, right? Like, this might just be like a build gateway units from these proxy gateways and go. Didn't even think about that, because obviously now they're going to have very fast production, so you actually benefit from just building them normally rather than warp gating them. And then you have 2 warp gates back at home. Oh yeah, that makes so much sense, and you just build the rest. So you warp in with 2 gates, and then you build the rest of the gates on the map. Oh, I love the combo. That's very unique. Did this Overlord see anything yet? Still no. SHIN is making a few more links. The Rotron is imperative for him. It's so good that he's got that on the way. He actually has quite a lot of links on the map, and the wall is open. We need to block this with a Stalker and get a couple of units warped in back over here. Honestly, seeing Warp Gate is already kind of a suggestion of aggression that SHIN has to recognize here, because... You know, there's no reason to build warp gates in this current scenario unless you're going to be aggressive with them, right? And like I said, there's quite a few units on the other side, but LetaleX has to go because the longer he waits, the less powerful this is, and then the roaches come up, and once the roaches are out, this is going to be way less powerful, way less potency for actually getting something done. And results coming back around again. Fight into this natural then. Let's see if it's going to end up being enough. I'm not super hopeful, if I'm going to be completely honest, but hey, you never know. Zarts and the Adepts keep fighting. A few more lings going down. The Adepts going to shit up to the high ground, but it just wasn't enough from LetaleX. He needed more than this, unfortunately, and he did not find what he needed. The last couple of Adepts will get cleaned up, and SHIN will be fine. Drone count is even, but LetaleX is obviously very committed. He has no future tech. 3 of his gates are out on the map. So the moment he loses these gateways, tons of his production is gone. It looks as though it's just going to be a little bit doomed for our Protoss player. Let's get it around one more time. Surrounding once again. These Stalkers show up, but we've got Roaches here now also. I mean, they're just going to help against Zealots if that's what we're going to continue building. And we have a better answer to them. That's lovely. Circles are still going to come about. The Roaches as well. Still trying to make this as comfortable as a shutdown as we can to round out this game in this series. Yeah, I mean, LetaleX, he took a map, and again, he's the underdog here, so coming in and taking a map, I think, is always still going to be a pretty impressive situation. SHIN is going to say to Alex, get out of here, and Alex is going to say, no, I actually submit. I am out of here. GG's. That Overlord scout was mega suspicious, but the Overlord that went down the left-hand side that just didn't actually scout anything, super suspicious. I mean, I think never mind the Overlord. He was getting a Roach Run out of safety. Something was obviously kind of tickling his brain as to, uh-oh, what's going on here? I do think him seeing the warp gates really tells you that something's going on, because like I say, it's just not necessary. Guys, calling SHIN for stream sheet when he's streaming himself is kind of nuts. Like, you can say he didn't move the Overlord like that in game 1 and 2, but like, they're playing different maps as well. Like, he might just have put his Overlords in a certain place on a certain map as well, you know? Yo, good morning, Cameron Bristol. How you doing? Good to see you. Thanks for joining us here as we get Percival and Alex ready to go for our third series of the day. Is getting Warp Gate not a thing this patch? Well, you get Warp Gate because the Warp Gate upgrade upgrades the speed at which your gateways go at. So you get Warp Gate as an upgrade. But because the gateways produce so quickly, gateways are better than Warp Gates. Warp Gates are only good for warping in on the other side of the map or warping in reinforcements where you need them to be. Generally speaking, production out of gateways is much faster. And you have to pay the tax. So if you're going to be playing defensively, you're not moving out on the map, you're not warping in on the map, there's no reason to have Warp Gate. It's just expensive. It's almost 100% more worthwhile to play it the other way around. So yeah. So it's not that you don't get it, you get Warp Gates, just you don't build Warp Gates straight away. If that makes sense. Can I link SHIN's Twitch if possible? He's not streaming on Twitch. He's streaming on Africa. But I can give you his point of view if you'd like to see it. Link it. Oh, on Soup. It's not Africa anymore. How fast is Gateway relative to Warp Gate? So... Warp Gate cooldown is... The Warp Gate cooldown is something like 22 seconds, I believe. So Warp Gate cooldown is like 22 seconds or so, whereas the Gateways is like 14 seconds for a Zealot, it's like 16 for an Adept or so. It's pretty nutty, honestly. It's pretty nutty. 33% faster. Yeah, it's pretty sick. It is pretty sick. That's what you call a good deal. That is a good deal. Do do do. Boom, 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 boom. Boom. Alright, videos are on the way from both players, so we should get going soon. Not much constant you have to pay first. No, but it's longer on a Warp Gate than it is on a Gateway. But and you're going to get Warp Gate. Warp Gate, it's only 14 seconds after you research Warp Gate, so you research Warp Gate on the Cybercore. And then you can build 14-second Zealots once that Warp Gate is done. And then if you want to make a Warp Gate that's 25 gas, and that's then still a 22-second cooldown. It's pretty major. Like, if you are playing defensively, you 100% build out of gateways. It's a lot better defensively. You probably want some warp gates even if you're playing defensively, like if you have like a couple, because then you can like warp in a unit in the wall last second or so. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 maps vetoed. Map 6 in a second, guys. And we'll get this started off. It's ready to go. Get this ready to go. Bum ba da bum ba bum ba bum bum ba 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 bum ba bum ba bum 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 bum. Like our last video, so we're about to have a map pick here. Will be Alex with the server preference for Rainfall. That will be map 1. Let's host it up. The base build time is like 27 without warp gate. It's a long time. It was crazy yesterday when we were watching Hero not have the warp gate upgrade, and he was building zealots out. That's why that game was so crazy. It's funny, I don't think I've ever really paid attention to like the time it takes to build Protoss units. We're gonna go Rainfall into Washout for map 1 and 2 again. Is it At Eternity's Edge for map 3 again as well? It is. Oh no, At Eternity got vetoed. Fear, Olden Temple, Downstone Street, Blackrock. Players are ready. Let's start the countdown while I figure out what the last map is. Rorschach, I believe, is map 3. Cool. Cool. Alright, let's kick this off, guys. Let's have in the top left-hand side the blue Protoss player. This is going to be LetaleX. He takes on, in the bottom right-hand side, the red Terran player, Percival. Bow. Let's see the gate and the assembly coming up. And the racks and the gas coming through. SCV coming in. And we have ourselves a few moments of getting set up at the moment. Get that all started. Gonna have the probe, obviously is going for a scout, is gonna actually meet an SCV in the map. SCV going to scout as well, so both players looking to say what's going on. Let's just have our CC coming about. The blink continuing through. The Marines is going to be there to help deal with the probe for a couple seconds. Get ready to hold that back. Yeah, the probe gets pushed away. Marine First has become very popular. It moves quite smoothly when you kind of go with the Marine First. The Reaper's a little bit of a awkward price to spend, and the build doesn't quite work quite as smoothly. It's not super bad or anything. It's just Marine First seems to work pretty well with the build orders right now. So just following this probe. Without a Reaper on the map, there's not going to be a lot to really look at here, realistically. For the next few moments, it's going to be a little bit of waiting around. got another probe down over here that's looking rather suspicious, so kind of wondering what the plan is with him. He has some sort of idea or something he might want to get done. He is going to put the pylon down, so Alex now 0-2 in this group. Percival with his first match of the day. And you see a couple of gates, the probes, stalking the warp gate coming up as we speak for a couple of moments to bring that about. Just for now. But just going to sit at the front there. The probe has a pile on the bottom left and is now going to move through the bottom side of the map and head toward the natural, maybe. Well, you know, 2 stalkers already warping in, a 3rd stalker warps in as well. And you're going to get ready to push through. 2 more barracks are coming up. Marines are going to see the stalkers, so we're now aware of the aggression that's coming. It's 3 warp gates ready to go. We lose a couple of Marines early. We're going to walk past the bunker. We don't walk past the bunker, we just stand there and lose a stalker. This is not a bad start from LetaleX. He gets quite a lot done. I mean, the bunker is a really strong kind of point of holding. Not sure if that depot was ever realistically going to get up unless Percival didn't think there was going to be more stalkers than this. I like this. 4 stalkers just pulling off and getting a couple SCVs already. 4 stalkers are the one-shot of the... As we'll get rid of some more Marines. I mean, knocking the Marine count down is great, but we still got to get rid of this bunker at some stage, otherwise this is an issue. Concussive shells and a Marauder on the way out. The Marauder to help us with these stalkers, obviously, with the bonus damage to the armored. Concussive shells is great too, because you're going to be able to stop the stalkers retreating away as easily. I'm going to dive through for the Marines. This time we're just going to go past the bunker. I think he should have done this a while ago, but that's so risky because the SCVs can surround you. I mean, I actually think I would have liked him to do that earlier, because at least early there was less Marines, so he could have maybe kind of got through early, force the Marines out of the bunker, kill those, and then you're in a lot of trouble very quickly, perhaps. It could have been much better. 2 slots in the central step up, just going to be seeing a couple of SCVs already starting to go down. The bunker continues to fire up and away. A couple more of these stalkers still being cleaned out. The Zealots still putting some work on also. Robot facility, probes, stalkers producing back at home. But, I mean, this was an interesting setup. Once again, the biggest issue for Protoss in this scenario is just how expensive this is in terms of everything else that you would have usually built in the game. There's no tech in the game, right? The Robo is going to be the first structure at home. That's a tech structure, so we're not going to have Twilight upgrades, which means these stalkers are going to be significantly worse than you typically want them to be as well. Now, just a lot of negatives here as the Robo Bay starts up from LetaleX. A few more Zealots coming through as well. Stimpack, Combat Shield both coming up. The Starport building in the main base. The Marine Marauder Force will gather on the natural. And just going to have the pylon in the bottom left from LetaleX gathering up there as well. Zealot Stalker still gathers up. Stimpack, Combat Shield, and the +1 continue to produce through. And the hallucination pops from LetaleX will begin to go across the map to see what's going on. And Stim Combat and +1 coming through. Forge, Nexus, the pylon on the way up as well. Continuing to get that on the go at the moment. See the Bioforce is gathering up. The Orbital is going to come into position. Medivacs gathered together. Just going to see the Nexus. It's going through. Marine is going to shoot. We are going to be having a couple of Medivacs in the attack upgrade building. And obviously goes down. Percival, like I say, as soon as he has these bio upgrades, which have already kicked in, he's going to start taking presence on the map. And this army is just not good right now because we're without charge, without blinks. These units, now, you know when they say gateway units suck against Terran, like these are the sort of gateway units you talk about, not the units that have charge and blink and so on. Those are actually a little bit better. They can kind of hold their own. This situation is not pretty, to say the least, right now, as the Bioforce heads up around the left side. Gonna grab a probe over here. The Marine stemming around the left as well. Just gonna be seeing the pylon. About to finish up from LetaleX as well. Percival is building another command center as well, by the way. So 4th command center coming up straight away as the Bioforce will push toward the top. I mean, this just feels like 100% of the scenario where Percival should be attacking. I just have no faith in this Protoss army because of its complete lack of upgrades. But the mines have been pretty good to start with. Like I say, the Zealots are terrible compared to their usual expectation. Lack of charge makes them really just do nothing at all. They obviously they tank damage, but they just don't deal any damage. Usually Zealots at least are really up in the front and really making it difficult for the Terran as the front units get softened up in a big way. Firepulse down at Zealot Falls. A couple more Stalkers being cleaned up as well. He's going to grab on those. A couple sentries. The Immortal and the Stalker coming across also. Fire Force trying to come back. A couple Stalkers will get onto a Marine here. Just going to have this pylon also taking some damage on the left side. An extra Zealot warping in right now. Fire will stim. Couple Stalkers in trouble. Sentries go down. The Colossus getting jumped on already. First Colossus drops. Now the Immortal goes down as well. You just see that. Like, he just doesn't have the supporting cast for this army. And what he did early in this game was extremely committed. It needed to do mega damage. It just didn't do enough at the end of it all. Percival pushes through and is going to clean up after the rest of these probes. Colossus. I mean, reinforcements will win this game. He will even, preserve a bunch of units here as well. 4th base coming online during this for Percival also. And that is going to be pretty much that. GG. As Percival takes game number 1 of this best of 3. Like I say, held early, and that whole it just needed to be so much more damage still from LetaleX. I can't really say it any other way, guys. I might sound boring saying the same thing again and again, but that truly is kind of where it's at. So, truly is where it's at. All right, let's kick this off into game number 2 on Washout. Ready. It's ready to go. All right, let's dive in. As in the bottom left-hand side, our Red Protoss player LetaleX is down a game. Can he find another magical map for himself today? A map off of SHIN is what he's got to shout about so far. Percival looking for a clean 2-0 to start his campaign today. He has Shameless and SHIN still to play, of course, so would like to see some success there. Anyway, similar, just going through, reacting to the gas coming over, CV and the probe will build. The probe coming across the map. Again, Pro going over. You know, I'm going to see the barracks finishing on this high ground and get a Marine started. Orbital Command will begin to morph in on the main base, and the probe in the bottom left is going to be settling down over toward the natural as well. So got that jointed together and ready to roll a few moments. Similar starts to build a probe, pulling down toward the bottom left-hand side. The Nexus is about halfway done already. Just having that command center halfway through. The SCV still building up a bunker on the front for Percival, and this SCV makes its way right across to the upper right side. SCV will be all the way back. Triple CC, by the way, from Percival, so big eco from him into more barracks. He's going to go 3CC bio. No factory, no starports. It's not going to have the solidity of, like, you know, a siege tank and so on to kind of hold positions with and so early. Have you seen those probes still chrono boosting? And Twilight Council obviously early from LetaleX as well. Not going to go for the early pressure like he did in game 1. What was PvT before this patch? Cross Goblin the map and spamming Gavians, and that's it. That is still what PvT is, though. Is this on the 300cc patch? Yes. PvT is not really changed. Like, Terrans have more pristine build orders with the 300cc's. So, like, their builds work a lot better, so they're a little bit more punchy. But I still think the moment the Protoss gets to 3 to 4 bases, it is business as usual in the PvT matchup. Like, we have not seen a significant change at all in that regard. Because the reality is the stage of the game that Terrans need help in PvT is not the first 5 minutes of the game. Not even with ghosts. I mean, if you play Ghost, then you have to really, you know, slow down even further, which again just lets the Protoss take the map. Which, don't get me wrong, Terrans can absolutely do well in the super late game when they just sit there and wait and wait and wait. We saw it with Clam Hero yesterday, and so on. But like that's already how the matchup was. Terran is just better at the points where they were already good. Yep, that's what I've been saying. Terran is better at what it was already good at. To be fair, I do think, like, early game, the Protoss gateway production, it's kind of funny because it's like the gateway production being better for Protoss feels pretty good, but then at the same time, if you go too heavy on the gateway production, you don't tech. So it's like it can be somewhat better for defenses, but it kind of, you know, because you're building more units per minute, you can't afford to tech if you're just mass spamming gateway. And so, like, it's an interesting little something. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, like, PvT was not an imbalanced matchup. PvT just had a severe issue of certain parts of the game being severely overweighted towards one race than the other. And that is very much so still the situation. That bunker not dying is extremely sad, and LetaleX, I think he's right to blink away. Like, it felt like he's so close to getting the bunker, but I think he's right to blink away. If he didn't blink then, these two Stalkers were about to die, and then I don't actually think he ever has the damage output for the bunker. We have Stim, by the way. If you want to drop a Stim, I wouldn't even mind him just stimming the Marauders. Marauders are almost more guaranteed to hit shots because they have a little bit extra range than the Marines as well. It's asymmetric balance. Protoss has better eco while Terran has a better army. That's not really true, though. The reason Terran can't go on the map is because they have the worst army. Until super late in the game. So in the mid game, the Protoss have the more powerful army and hence get the more powerful eco and all the map control. So I don't think that's necessarily like, it's not like it's like, okay, Protoss have good eco, In fact, you know, but their army sucks. It's like, the problem is Protoss has all the good things at the same time. Protoss has a more mobile army, not better. I think it depends what state of the game you're talking about. And the state of the game I talk about when a Protoss sits on the map, with the moment they get too close and they sit on the map, like the Terran cannot engage into that. Blink, Stalkers, Charge Lots, you cannot fight that as a Terran player if there's a bit of splash damage behind it. You just can't, like, and that's why the Protoss can just sit on the map. Like, the Terran cannot engage into it. Medivacs show up and these Stalkers will get pushed away. As Percival already holding that 3cc down. He's up in workers. His economy's looking great in this one. Since when is gateway units better than MMM with stim? Since the amount of them you can get is higher. Like, don't get me wrong, like, bio versus gateway units is like, it's very situational, but the thing is typically the bio units can't chew through zealots fast enough. And because you can't chew through zealots fast enough, you don't make any progress. So if there's splash damage behind those zealots and the stalkers are dealing damage too, like, the bio army just can't progress into the army of the Protoss at all. So yeah. It's funny because I think a lot of the matchup is very backwards to what people were brought up on. Like, we're so used to being like, well, gateway units suck. Gateway units really don't suck anymore. However, bio units are amazing in the late game still, where gateway units really do fall off in the late game. It's just a numbers thing. Like, there's certain kind of breakpoints where, like, gateway units are very strong, and then there's a certain breakpoint where gateway units just suck again. But you've got to get to that breakpoint as the Terran to have enough to deal with it, and typically the Terran needs a bit of support for that to look like that way as well. Uh-oh. The Nova Covert Ops music will start, guys. That means the music's going to break down in a couple in a couple matches' time. That's a nice grab there. LetaleX is going to grab 3 Medivacs already. Alright, we'll stem kite back a little bit. A couple of Widow Mines ready to go off. Percival has been on an eco lead and an army lead for a long time once more. Alex looked to do work with those Stalkers early, and at least this time he has the Twilight Council upgrades, but as the Widow Mines hit beautifully as well. I mean, Percival had super strong eco this game, and again, Alex tried to do damage, he just didn't do enough, and hence Percival kind of just swarms from that point on, and his supply at this stage is already doubling that of his opponent, so looking great there. And Valkyrie boost over that left side. Why did Storm disappear from PvT? I mean, Storm didn't really disappear from PvT. It wasn't as popular of a choice. People were still, until maybe I haven't necessarily seen on this patch, but like people were still building Storm early. Obviously, Storm did get a little bit of a nerf, going down to 100 damage overall instead of 110. It was already kind of... The issue with Storm usually is that it's hard to open into Storm, because with it doing less damage, it's much more of a zoning tool. So Storm is much better kind of mid to later, because you can zone, and if you get into the right place, the Terran can't attack into you. But if you're in that phase of the game where the Terran is attacking, and that's really amplified now with the Terran build being a little bit stronger with 300 mineral CCs, Storm is not as great of a saving grace. Like, because if you miss a Storm, if you say you have 2 or 3 High Templar, you miss 2 Storms out of 3, you're doomed. If you drop 2 Storms and the Terran backs away and then engages back into you, you buy time for maybe 1 warping or something, it's just not good, right? So yeah, it's just difficult to get to Storm. It's difficult to get to Storm and to be able to be okay on Storm a lot of the time, I think. Just gonna see this Disruptor getting caught. We kind of need these Disruptors to show up, but they're not going to do that. That's going to be game. As Percival wraps around, cleans up, and Alex, unfortunately, will go 0-3 home of the day. But hey, he qualified in. That's a great result for him already. I was excited to have him here. Now we're going to have a Percival, SHIN, and Shameless battle to see who gets out of this group. 2 spots available for those 3 players. That resume next. Gateway units are not better, but with the warp gate changes, TOS can produce faster than Terran. I mean, it's not even about the warp gate changes. If you watch PvT for the last year, you can just see that gateway units can absolutely hold their own against Bio. Because of the amount of economy and the amount of units you can spam out as the Protoss, like, it's not even about the gateway changes. That's just how the matchup works. Gateway units are swarmy, and they can swarm swarm Terran armies until Terran gets the right amount of units up, or the right tech up to help deal with that swarmy nature. So, it's not really about the changes. Like, gateway units have beaten Bio for a long time in the right circumstances. It's not... The problem is where you're trying to explain things in a very straightforward fashion when it's not straightforward. You know, you're saying, oh, so this is better than that, right? It's situational. It's like, yeah, it's very situational, is what it comes down to at the end of the day. Why have I closed my freaking Wikipedia page? So you can't really answer it just with like one... You can't really... You just can't really answer it, basically, is what it comes down to with like one quick statement. Sinister, thank you so much for the 23-month resub. Appreciate it. SE2 hype. Thank you, thank you. Let me just message Shameless. It'll be Shameless versus SHIN up next, then Shameless... I think it's Shameless SHIN, SHIN Percival, and then Percival versus Shameless to wrap us up. Cool. Let me run some ads. We'll get back on track soon here in the WardiTV Summer Cup. Groupie. Widow Mines do count as Zealot Swarms. Yeah, Widow Mines firing a bit faster makes it harder for Protoss to micro against them, right? So Widow Mines have definitely gone a bit better against Zealots. The problem is if you play a high amount of Widow Mines, the Protoss just stops and builds Colossus and they laser beam down the Widow Mines, and Widow Mines aren't worth building. And then you have to turtle as the Terran, and you don't turtle with Widow Mines, basically. You can turtle with like a few mines, but typically you need siege tanks and so to hold the positions out until deeper in the game. Alright, just waiting for Shameless to come and join us here, guys. Hopefully just a minute or two. Got something in my eye today. It's been bugging me for the last couple of games. You still got a chuckle out of WardiTV and peanut butter Jesus the other day. Yeah. I love how this is the top clip of the... the top clip of the month is me banning someone. Where did this even get viewed from? Oh, yeah, it doesn't have enough views to have been on Reddit or anything. It's just... People just clicked on it in chat. They just enjoyed it that much. It's funny. It was amazing. Well, it's just funny because, like I say, Helen had a list, but she was like, there's one person who's not on my list, but he's on the list. It's just I remember his name, so I didn't have to write it down. It's because, and she's like, it's because his name is so memorable. And I was like, yeah, fair enough. I was like, because she said the name as well, and I was like, yeah, I know Peanut Butter Jesus. He's in the chat a fair amount. She's like, really? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, oh. She's like, well, you're going to have to ban him. He was being a dick. Oh. Is Shameless in a ladder game too? Is everyone just in a ladder game? You should on ZG's channel. Yeah, widow mines are interesting. The problem with widow mines still is that widow mines still really do backfire on the Terrans so often, even in TVP. Like, the problem is that you pair widow mines up with like units that can die very quickly to widow mine splash, and so if you take the wrong widow mine shot for yourself, like your widow mines kill you, you know? It's kind of like an awkward situation, for sure. Dog next door is having a good bark. I think Shameless just AFK. You like that widow mines have counterplay and that there's counterplay to the counterplay? Yeah, no, widow mines are a great unit. They're just not a catch-all unit. The problem is, it's like, I think the argument is that because people are talking about, like, you know, Protoss just friendly fire tier and stuff, right? But like, you can't, as a Terran, you can't really manipulate the friendly fire of a Protoss player against them. But as a Protoss player, you can manipulate the friendly fire of a Terran against them, right? Like, if a Protoss drops a storm, like, they could run into the storm, right? So you can pull a, but like, it's in your best interest to disengage from storm anyway. So like, you can't be like, oh, I'm gonna somehow drag something through this storm and like use storm against you, and it's a cool play. Like, I mean, if the Protoss messes up and places a bad storm, then the Terran can be like, oh, you can't come through that storm, and I can move like this or something. But yeah, Terran friendly fire is pretty it's pretty, like I say, it's pretty damning, especially just because you're playing with like low HP units, so your explosions really do blow your own units up, right? Why does Protoss not use an Adept Shade to set off tanks? I think it's very difficult to get an Adept Shade into the center of bio. I mean, it's not something that isn't used, right? You quite often see an Adept Shading forward to take the first tank shot, and then the Stalkers blink in after. I think it's just difficult to pull off because the bio kills the Adept very quickly when it shades and stuff like that. So yeah. Where is Shameless? There's a bio one shot there. Yeah, that's why I was thinking. I think the bio just kills the Adept before the tanks fire a lot of the time. No way did I just log onto Korea with no issue at all when the one time I actually wasn't meant to go in Korea and I was meant to go to Europe. Alright, Shameless just came out of whatever custom thing he was in. So hopefully we can go in a second. Hi Wardy, thanks for your hope. You see WardiTV 2 streaming now, so you have to go. WardiTV 2 is always streaming. I started to get the I've started to get abuse for the 24/7 stream as well. It's begun. I'm killing small streamers, guys. killing small streamers. It's a classic. Ay, ay, ay. Maybe the small streamers are killing my 24/7 channel. Did I think about that? Yeah. Alright, Shameless is here. Shin should be able to start videoing with us in a few moments, guys. Get that out of the way. First video comes in as Rorschach. WardiTV choose the real Wardy. Yeah. Man, I'm just like, I'm waiting for my Prime sub to come up. Not because I really want to use my Prime sub on my own channel. I just want to get a founder's badge on my own channel. I don't want to pay the $5. So I want my Prime sub to come up so I can get a founder's badge on WardiTV too. Then I'll go back to using my Prime on a rotation of other StarCraft streams. Oh god. Oh my god. I was trying to get a bit of fluff off my audio device and I accidentally hit the soundboard. Did you guys even hear that? Do you guys hear that? I don't think you guys hear that. I think it's muted to you guys. Yeah, you guys don't hear it. I just made myself jump. Hang on, what's this on? Is it this one? Is it these? I think it's this. Hang on. There you go. I just made this sound. And it just absolutely made me absolutely I jump scared myself. Literally just jump scared myself. Just if you were, like, you guys wouldn't have heard it, but if you were watching, I went. I was literally just trying to get this bit of fluff off the thing. Ay. I'm a very jumpy person. What's the origin of my name? Because the first time you heard it, you thought it was Arabic, meaning pinky. Well, it's a very uninteresting story. Because my last name is Ward. And so, the typical UK thing for nicknames is you take someone's last name and you whack a Y on it, you know? So if you're someone Smith, you're Smithy. Or if you're... But now I can't think of any other last names. But like, this is just a very common way to nickname people in the UK. So I was always Wardy. I've been Wardy to all of my friends pretty much always. Helen knows me. I mean, Helen knows me as Wardy through StarCraft. It's kind of funny because I was because I used to in the real world I spell Wardy with a Y. So Wardy with an I is my gamer tag. Like I always thought it'd be cool to write Wardy with an I, but like no one would ever do it at some point. So eventually I was like, hey, I could have my gamer tag be Wardy with an I instead of a Y, you know? And I was like, oh, that works. That's cool. Because then like my gamer tag is different to my name, I guess. So it's really funny because then if Helen ever writes Wardy, she writes it with an I. But if I'm just like doodling and like stuff, and if I'm just like doodling, I always write Wardy with a Y, which is probably like really weird to you guys as well, right? Because it's WardiTV with an I. But like I always write Wardy with a Y. Because to me, Wardy, that's my name. And Wardy is my gamer tag, you know? So yeah, it's so it was really funny because at some point Helen met some of my friends from university and they were writing my name in a chat or something. I can't remember how it came up, but they wrote my name somewhere and she was like, they don't even spell your name right. And I was like, what do you mean? I was like, that's exactly how you spell it. She's like, what do you mean? It's with an I. And I'm like, oh. I'm like, well, this is weird because you know my gamer tag, but actually it's this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 maps of Vito. So we've gotten rid of the 4-player maps. We can start on Rainfall. Don't tell me. Rainfall, Washout at Eternity's Edge. Crazy. So yeah, it's funny. Funny little story. And then the reason my Twitch has 3 eyes is because simply one day I was trying to make an account to write in a Twitch chat, I guess. And I never thought my Twitch ID would be important, so I tried to make the name Wardy. Obviously, it was taken. So I was just like, what if I do with 2? I think 2 eyes was taken as well. So I did Wardy with 3 eyes, and then that went through, so I could write something. I obviously never thought I was going to stream on this. It's one of the most annoying things that I have my Twitch chat with Wardy with 3 eyes. Like, it really bugs me. Like, I really dislike it. But it's just so far gone to fix at this point. Local once rated the wrong Wardy. Wow. Unbelievable. Honestly, like, stuff like that, I don't even really care. Just, like, it would just be nice to have the actual Wardy account. It's, like, a completely dead account. No one uses it. It's, it'd be nice to have it. It's just, yeah. I don't know. It's, at least I didn't make myself, like, Wardy 77 or something, you know? Like, just made up some numbers. So, yeah. I'm... And it's not that annoying, really. It's just like, I probably had the chance to change it a long time ago to like WardiTV at least, and then I just never did. Well, so actually what happened was that at one point, so at some point you could change your Twitch username, right? But the downside of it is if you change your Twitch username, you lost all of your previous stats. And when I say your previous stats, I just mean like in your dashboard, in your analytics, you lose like all the stats from the previous years, which I always liked looking at. I always thought it was very cool to look at and stuff. So anyways, I was like, you know, I kind of like the stats and stuff. Anyways, at some point I was like, you know what? I'm just going to change it. So the next time, I literally said to myself, the next time my Twitch UK partner manager messages me, I'm going to ask him, or, you know, I think it was a guy at that point. I was like, I'm going to ask him if he can get my account name changed. And that was the last and that was the last time I ever heard from Twitch. They never emailed me again. This was legit like 6 years ago. They never emailed me for like, well, they emailed me since then, but it's like, for like 4 years, they didn't email me. And like literally in my head was like, the next time they contact me, I'm actually going to ask them about it. And then just, they never emailed me again. Crazy. They used to like email me every month, be like, hey, is everything okay? You know, I'm your Twitch partner manager. You've got no idea who I am. I've got no idea who you are, but like, I'm here to help you stream. So, can't I just name? I mean, I think, yeah, you can nowadays, but back then you couldn't. I think you couldn't, or if you, I think if you're a streamer and you want to specifically try and save your stats, you have to get Twitch to do it in like a specific way, which is what I was going to ask about. Yeah, like I say, they never, no. Like I say, now the channels that I would have had anyway are taken, so it doesn't even matter anymore. Doesn't even matter anymore. Couple Lings gonna chase after the probe. Ling speed, couple drones. The Queen's coming up. Stargate building from Shameless. We got the Nexus about to finish. You removed the SET from her name? Whoa. Are you pro? Whoa. I'm not ready to accept that. What are we gonna do? Like, this is terrible. Is this? That's the new patch, isn't it? Ay. People swapping to zero space. The SC2s are being thrown out there. I tell you what I am happy with is we're just watching very early game PvZ here, guys. There is not anything really special going on, so I will continue to go off topic for a little bit. But the one thing I'm very happy with is that when I rebranded to WardiTV, which, by the way, in September, it's the 10-year anniversary of WardiTV, which is legitimately 2 months away now, so we're going to have something special for that. But I'm so glad we called it WardiTV, because, my God, like, it's so much nicer than I feel like would have been all the other ideas. I don't even remember what all my ideas were. But I was like, could it be like Wardy Games or like Wardy Gaming? Or I think I didn't go for Wardy StarCraft because I was specifically thinking Wardy StarCraft was like I didn't want to like hone myself in just on StarCraft back then. But I feel like WardiTV is just like the absolute best one we could have gone for. So yeah. After playing a few games, the gateway changes feel strangely good. No, I think the gateway changes are good. I mean, if nothing else, the gateway changes are definitely fun and fresh, and they're not terrible like and unplayable. So, but also, let's be fair, the gateways have also been changed a bunch since the first patch as well. It's not like this is the first iteration of the warp gate change either. But I would agree, like, I think my favorite thing out of all the patches that we've had has been the gateway change. Because I think that has truly freshened up the game. Like, we have truly seen Protoss players play differently, change the way that their matchups work, approach things in different you know, like, that has genuinely been something which has shifted. And it's truly just because of the gateway change, I think. So, that part's actually been very cool. I think it's pretty neat. What happened to Stormgate or whatever it was called? Mismanaged, I think, is what it comes down to. They approached it badly, and they spent the money in the wrong places, I think. They also spread themselves too thinly. They tried to do too many different things. It's a real shame because Stormgate being a I mean, it was a disaster realistically, unfortunately. Stormgate being a disaster was a really negative experience for an RTS because Stormgate was very hyped, not just in the RTS community, but like in the entire gaming community as the next RTS, right? As these Lings are going to actually have a very good time. Grabbing those Adepts is already a great start. 2 more Adepts now warping in. We've got some Zealots building. Charge's going to be here in a moment, but are these Lings just going to get the kill in this third base? Yeah, this is kind of the problem when you proxy your gates in the bottom left of your map and you build Zealots out of them. It's actually very similar to what LetaleX was doing against SHIN on that map as well. It's exactly the same. 2 gateways with Warp Gate here, 4 gates proxied in the bottom left corner, you build the Zealots there. This time SHIN doesn't have a Rotron though, right? So he's going to have to fight what is a lot of Zealots with just Zerglings. Albeit they will be very soon +1 melee Zerglings. So it's going to charge in. We have a Baneling Nest. That's obviously very good in this scenario too. So no Rotron, but a Baneling Nest. As long as you get some Banes up here, that would go a long way to helping, because if you splash down these Zealots, then you're going to be looking good. With no third base up, Shameless is in a ton of trouble. This Ling's still looking to wrap around. The Queen's pulling away to the side. A few more Lings showing up. Going to be there in position, and that is going to be the shutdown on this. The Zealots all going down. GG's to Shameless. Shit takes game number 1. But yeah, what I was going to say is because Stormgate was like the next big RTS in the general gaming sphere, it failing as heavily as because it didn't just fail, it failed as badly as it could have failed, basically. And because it failed that badly, I think games like Zero Space have really struggled to get like publishers to get behind their game and stuff, because they're like, oh, but how could you possibly make an RTS if Stormgate failed, you know? So they now, every time they like try and get funding, they have to like, everyone's like, but if Stormgate couldn't do it, that's it. Like, RTS is dead. They're like a Twitch chat, but for like RTS games. They're like, no, it must be now a dead genre. So yeah, I failed through gross incompetence rather than being bad. Hey, they just did a lot of things wrong at the end of the day. I think it had potential, but they just did so many things wrong at the end of all of it, honestly. Top right hand side, our red Zerg player here is going to be SHIN. He's up a game against Shameless in the bottom left hand side. Game number 2 of this best of 3 coming up. It would be a big win for SHIN, because especially considering he dropped a map to LetaleX, he needs to try and make sure he doesn't end up in a tiebreaker scenario, because that could be very bad for him. And a 2-0 over one of the opponents he could end up in a tiebreaker with would be a very positive start for him. Bravo to the top left side, drone on the way through, Gate and the Pro coming about. Did Frost Giant give up entirely? I mean, Frost Giant, there's a lot of... I mean, it's a long story from what I understand, and I don't know all of it. But I think, and to answer the second question, Chad, if I had to pick the top failing point, I think the biggest issue was... And this maybe will explain 2 questions in one. Ooh. My bad. Slowed down the game for a second. As a hatch comes down. I think the biggest issue with Stormgate was they spread themselves too thinly. Because they try to make campaign and co-op and 1v1. And not one single aspect of it was solid. I think what they needed to do was have a really solid campaign with the groundworks of 1v1. So yeah, they needed to get like a really good campaign down and stuff, and they just spread themselves too thinly and spent too much money way too quickly to then be able to finish anything. But they also were expecting to have more funding, and a lot of their funding actually fell out from beneath them at a pretty major point of development. So when they thought they had like 3 to 4 more years of like developing a lot of stuff, or I don't know if this timeline's accurate, but like let's say they thought they had 4 more years, they then had a year to hit early access and to start making some money back and stuff. So it just, that was part of it. But I think from the ground up, they just spread themselves too thinly. Like, co-op should have been like an addition. Like, to be fair, like I say this, and yet here we have Zero Space who are going for the same setup. They're doing co-op and 1v1 and campaign as well. But like, I think if you did one of those things extremely well, it would carry the others. And the main thing being campaign, because if you do campaign really well, you can then build out the rest of it after. But the campaign was bad, right? And the 1v1 was meh, you know? And the co-op didn't even work half the time. Because like their engine was bugged, and it actually, the game just broke if you got to a certain amount of units in the game, so co-op was basically unplayable. Like, there was just too many issues in the end of the day, so yeah. It was a bit of unfortunateness, and like it would have been interesting to see what they did if they got all the time they thought they had. But at the same time, what they did have was very mismanaged. There's like a lot of stories of things they spent money on, and it's just it's infuriating to hear when you know, I've talked about this to death with the other StarCraft casts many times. But there's like a lot of things they spent money on which they shouldn't have done, and yeah, they prioritize a lot of like, it was like they asked for a lot of favors from like the StarCraft community, from like people like me, Loco, etc. They were always asking favors for us to put, you know, mention the game or stream the game and stuff. But then they like would burn a bunch of money on like sponsoring someone who would play it and be like, oh, this is shit, and like never, you know, they get nothing out of it or something, you know, like So they lost a lot of faith from the people that should have been fully behind them as well. The whole thing was just rough. In my opinion, what was missing in 1v1, I'd never played Stormgate enough to tell you that. I think, okay, what I did think, I had fun in Stormgate when I played it here and there, but I think it lacked a lot of depth. There was constantly strategies from what I saw that were broken. And I think a lot of the techier units, a lot of the higher end units, like to understand what a unit did, you had to read like 3 paragraphs of text. Like they added like a tier 3 like unit for the human race. I can't remember what they're called anymore. And it literally had like a paragraph of text to explain what it did. I'm just like, I don't even care, you know? I was talking about this when I was casting the Zero Space event. I was saying to Katz, I was like, it's so fun because your units are fun, but they're fun and they do fun things, but very simply. Because like they had like this rhino or whatever, and it jumps down a cliff. It can jump down a cliff, and if it lands on something when it jumps down the cliff, it stuns it. But it's like that's a really interesting ability, right? But it doesn't require a lot of explanation, you know? It's like jump down cliff, stun. You know, that's super understandable, but it's also very unique and does its own thing. So I think the unit design, it was the same in like not Zero Space, in Battle Aces. I think the units were all simple enough that you could just be like, oh, those look like tanky little melee boys, and guess what? They were tanky little melee boys. Or, hey, that looks like, you know, a fast-ass little thing that's going to kill my workers, and all my workers were gone. You know, like, I think Stormgate lacked a lot of the foundation being solid. More than anything else, so... Yo, LetaleX TV, thank you for the gifted sub going out to Jason Ace Jack. We are really off topic now, guys. Oh, yeah. And it's Abstrudinov. Thank you so much for the 11-month resub on the Prime as well. I'm so sad they killed off Zero Space. Zero Space literally went into early access yesterday. So if you like Zero Space, it literally just went into early access. Go check it out. You meant Battle Aces? Yeah. Okay. You did the same mistake as me? Yeah, I am really sad about Battle Aces too. That game was really fun. It wasn't a StarCraft, but it was very fun and fun in its own way. All right, should we talk about this game, guys? We're way off topic. It's PvZ. We didn't miss anything. Haha. Well, honestly, not true. I mean, we literally went Stargates and a Fleet Beacon. If there's one thing worse than talking about PvZ early game, it's talking about PvZ Stargate focused mid games. Battle Aces did very little for you. Yeah, I think that's absolutely true for a lot of people, which I actually think was a good thing though. Because do you know what I think is also the biggest failing of like one of the bigger failings of Stormgate is that it just tried to be StarCraft and Warcraft at the same time. Like it didn't give any room to be its own thing, you know? It's like it was a Blizzard-inspired RTS, but it was actually just trying to be a game, like a mix of games that came before it, whereas Battle Aces was truly its own thing, you know? Which, like I say, it's good that not everyone likes it, because that means it's different enough. To me, that meant it was different enough that actually it was trying something new and to do its own thing. I think there's a big kind of positive to that as well. That Nexus gets killed from these lings. Like in all of the Stormgate stuff, they were always like, "This is what we want Stormgate to be," and it was like they had this slider, and it's like unit health, and it's like it was like StarCraft on one side and Warcraft on the other. It's like we're gonna go in the middle. It's like, oh, so you're gonna make Star Warcraft. At some point when you say that, it's like actually that makes sense. Like you're right. Sometimes Warcraft battles are really long. Sometimes StarCraft fights are too fast. Why not go in the middle? But the problem of going in the middle of and basing it around two things already is like, how do you make your own identity with that and stuff? And things try to knock down those rocks. It would be nice to get them because it denies these mineral patches from this fourth base, but it doesn't look like we're going to be able to deny it. So it looks like we will have that advantage as Shameless. I say advantage, I mean SHIN has these mineral patches too, but if SHIN was able to kill those rocks, that would be a pretty big positive. Mothership is now out. Tempest on the way. We're going to get Temple Archives, get Charge as well, so it's not completely committed to Sky Toss. He is going to make sure he's got some ground support as well. Did SHIN kill that Nexus? I'm pretty sure yeah, it was a kill, not a cancel. I think I said it at the time. do have the massive voids going to fly around the top. This Queen unfortunately gets caught on its own. These two Hydras are going to find support. It's enough Hydras for at least a kill on the Void Ray. It's an oversteam over on the side, but these Hydras are going to keep these Void Rays stuck in, so we have to go for the recall. I don't think you really mind that as SHIN. You force him to recall, that's on cooldown now. So, you know, you're at least not going to be able to recall away anytime soon, which means you can't make a similar play for the foreseeable future. Voids, the Tempest pulling back over to the left side of the mothership. I'm going to be right there as well. Lings are going to try work their way through a set of rocks in the center as well. The Hydra's going to be here as well. Just going to click those down for a moment. Rocks will fall.
Game
Shameless
paused.
with a little pause. Just for some lags, take a second and get this back on track. My conspiracy theory is all the people who wanted an 8-worker start and support this patch are the people who came back to SC2 after Stormgate failed. Wow, that's brutal. That is a conspiracy theory. Alright, we are
Game resumed.
good to go. Get back to it as the Ling Hydra is going to be heading around this bottom side. Just going to see the +2 attack and air weapons both on the way up from Shameless. I mean, Shin's maxed out. This is kind of where you want to start fighting, but I mean, honestly, like, there's no Storm. I really thought he was going to build Storm, but he just built Archons. I think he should have built Storm. Like, maybe if your opponent goes Corruptors, then you don't. Then Storm's still good against Corruptors, but maybe then having Archons is better because the Corruptors fly in, the Archons are guaranteed shots. Against Hydra Lane Bane, I mean, I guess the Banes are going to get tanked by the Archons a bit. He's going Storm now, but I feel like he could have gone Storm a while ago already. I was just going to get there. Nexus gets cancelled. Little Revelation gets a catch in the center there as well. The few Zelds are going to go run up around the top. Hatchery finishes in the front. 6 base setup from SHIN if they all survive. And a bunch of spines here. The Zelds are going nowhere. You have the resources to invest into stuff like these spine walls when you're playing against the Sky Toss, because you know there's going to be like some harassment, but it's mostly about the big army. So if you can just shut down the harass and keep focused on that big army, those spines are going to pay dividends. Like, it's just going to make it a much easier game for you. You don't have to worry about your eco. You keep that up, you keep booming, you get a big bank, and you can build off the back of that time and time again. Storm is now done, so Shameless will have a much better time fighting here as the Ling Bane gets through the first storms, though. Stasis wards are massively saving graces here. Those stasis, if those stasis wards hadn't gone off, that Ling Bane is all up in this mineral line right now. And those, I mean, maybe those High Templar are all dead. Wow. SHIN is like, what am I about to build here? He's actually not building anything. Is he going to try and wait for the Spire? Oh, I think if he waits for the Spire, that's going to take way too long. Units came back from the other side, but they don't do anything now. It's just too late. Okay, he goes for 32 Hydras, but that's his entire bank. That was not it from SHIN in the slightest, and he is in trouble as we go pushing to the far right-hand side. Void's going to activate, extracting some trouble. Spinecrawler gets picked off, the Overlord taken out as well. A couple of these Hydras are also going to fall. This army is still pressing up. Naturally just about to go down. Parasitic Bomb still on the Void Ray. The Hydras are going to go for a search through. We get rid of the Mothership. These Zelds are still chasing up as well. We'll engage once more. A few more Zelds going down. Going to lunge forward for an Archon. I mean, SHIN put up a pretty valiant effort after the disaster on the other side of the map. I mean, this is basically just a lack of splash damage, and Hydras will do well against a lack of splash. Obviously, Zeld's still a bit tanky, though, so it makes you think twice about it. Shameless still has 2,000 minerals and 1,000 gas to play with here as well, so he still has a lot of numbers to kind of go and work in his favor. We're just going to push in. We're just going to be seeing the pylon going down. Next is going to be taking some damage. The Zeld's going to step forward. The Void Rays as well. Might as well shoot. Going to actually lunge underneath. Just going to be seeing the Void taking big hits. More on the right side coming back through. problem for SHIN is that you're scrambling together an army, and a scrambled army is barely ever going to be the right call against the Protoss army that looks like this, right? It's very teched up. There's a lot of good units in this. Hard to imagine SHIN winning. I mean, I don't want to say it's impossible. It's hard to see him winning from this position. It's definitely, to me, Shameless favored at this point. SHIN does have pretty good base coverage, but obviously Shameless is a 5-base Protoss player as well, so his economy is also absolutely where it needs to be right now. The biggest issue that Shameless has had in a couple of these moments is just a lack of splash damage. He still only has 2 High Templar in this army. Just think if we like warp in 6 or 7 High Templar, he has 4 now. If you have like 7 or 8 High Templar in this army and you just drop multiple storms in a fight, I don't think SHIN's army then does anything. Obviously SHIN he's on the spy. He's actually getting +1 Flyer Cat attack upgrade now, so eventually he could swing toward Corruptors as a rebuild. But he's respecting the ground army as well. I mean, Hydras later in the game really do fall off just because of the amount of splash that's available. This obviously feels good. Drop loads to cause some chaos could be the sort of thing to help rip Shameless apart a little bit. If you can force this main army to reposition, then you could be talking already. So there's definitely some potential there. Hydras, Ultras, and Festas gather. Couple of Temper Shots, going to get rid of the Spore. We're going to see a Fungal Growth coming down. Microbial Shroud comes down already. Just going to see that Archon taking a few more shots. We go back and forth. Nothing really going to come of this just yet. The Overlord's now in some trouble as we step up. Spinecrawler's in trouble. Overlord's taking hits. And Fester in a bit of trouble too. That's the Ling Drop though. They have Adrenal? They have Adrenal but no +3, right? Yeah, they're not super killer Lings as we see Shameless still just pushing through. A couple of Ultras definitely help the army, but it's still not looking like enough as I just don't realistically think we have the anti-air to get rid of the Tempest at the end of it all. The few Hydras that remain are going to get stormed upon. We're going to rebuild into the Corruptors, but yeah, it's going to be tough. We do more of an Archon, but Shinji's going to say GG. The Sky Toss gets the better of him, and Shameless will take us through to Game 3 of this best of 3. Going the distance in this series. We'll have to run ads before this one gets. We only have 5 minutes before they play automatically, so we'll get those in between. Shameless just needs to relog, no worries. And we'll jump into Game 3, which is at Eternity's Edge in a second. Alright, go GLHF is called. I'll get into this in just a moment. Waiting for SHIN to give us the go-ahead that he is ready as well, and we can go into game number 3 of this series, guys. So SHIN and Shameless go into a 3rd and final map, and then after this we have SHIN versus Percival and Percival versus Shameless still to go. So we also actually have a couple games coming on up. If you're enjoying the stream today, don't forget to hit the follow, like, and subscribe buttons. So thank you so much, Hemrick B, for the 19-month resub on the Prime, much appreciated. In the bottom right-hand corner, we are going to have ourselves the Red Zerg player. This is SHIN. And in the top left-hand side, our blue Protoss is Shameless. Game 3 of this best of 3, guys. At Eternity's Edge, and away we go. Picking this off and getting this party started. Alright, we're currently bit along. Just gonna have our overlord from SHIN moving over. There's Dark coming back soon. I don't know when Dark is back, but he is coming back. He is coming back, I'm just not 100% sure when. I'll try and check on Twitter. What's Dark's Twitter? Is it SC2 Dark? It's a classic, isn't it? Yeah, SC2 Dark. He has 6 months left in May, so he comes back in November. Cybercore building, it's about halfway done. The next is coming up on the natural. Got the probe walking into the natural and pulling back out again for a few moments. Again, the probe continues over. Got the Link Speed, the Queens, the Lings and the drones all coming up. It's gonna have our Overlord chilling out. The Adepts gathering up as well. A couple of probies moving around. And the Zergling's gonna continue over for the next few moments also. Speed just coming through. Again, the Queen, couple of drones, and the hatchery coming about. Adept and our warp gate coming online. The Stargate is building. Just gonna see that Ling getting straight through and putting some work in. So Probe's already taking some shots. Adept is gonna go chase after that Ling as well, try and see what else we can find. The Overlords are building. Queen and the Ling Speed all on the way up. Adept is gonna get the grab. And a couple of probes gathered together. Ling Speed will finish very shortly. Oracle does make its way to the bottom right. A few more drones coming up, the Lings as well. We get rid of a few workers already. The Adepts get up into the main base. It's a very good start from Shameless. SHIN getting harassed down heavily. Yes, 7 workers already dropped. The Lings get us around. It's going to be minus 7 workers straight away. Then the Oracle just about surviving out on the right side at the same time. Escaping there for the moment. Two gates, Twilight Council, Prism, and the Warp Gate all building up. And then we have this Extractor finishing through very soon. The Lings are going to go knock, knock, knocking on the front door of At Eternity's Edge. The doorman said no, not accepting visitors right now. Let's just get rid of this Ovi. Kill that off. And continue through. The other Zergling's going to come back around, stepping over a little bit. For a few moments. It's worth catching. There is a pylon coming into place. Temple Archives coming up. Couple of probes on the way out with the Lings in the lair. Continuing through as well. A couple of Lings over here. Gonna go moving around once more. And actually gonna see them coming around to the far right side. See what else is happening as well. We run in. The stasis ward, honestly, I mean, popping the stasis ward now would not be a bad thing, right? Just get one ling in there, pop it already. Yeah, I'm just going to do that. Just so you don't run into it later in case you do find an aggressive opportunity otherwise. While still having to use its energy as well, so SHIN is draining that down. Hydra Den is about to finish up for him, so we're going to see a Hydra-based game from him again. 63 drones, has a lot of money set up at the moment. Is he looking for a Ling Hydra attack, or what is the plan from SHIN over these next few moments? On the bottom, Prism is going to get in. The couple Archons will start a strike. The Queen is going to get taken out. The Hydra's getting shot at. Obviously got the Prism to save these units here, but that's generally a pretty okay defense from SHIN. You push this back without too much of an issue. I'm going to challenge the gateways, all continue to come up. There's sorry, the Adepts get into the third base. Really taking some damage as well for a few moments. Go back and forth a little bit. Prism once more is turned away over here as the Hydras continue to come through. Couple of gates both continuing into place. Charge coming up, the Immortal on its way. Hydras and Lings continue to build. For now. The Archon gets rid of his Zergling. Just having the Overlord. Obviously on the left side, going to gather up again. Forge, extra Zealots, the charge, building through Ling Hydra. Comes up already on the side of SHIN. Hydra speed is building as well. The Hydra's trying to get the Prism. Also, it would be really nice to shut it down. SHIN has not really built workers since he started building Hydras, so this Hydra Ling is going to go with the Hydra speed, it would seem. It's going to be an Archon Immortal Zealot defense. No splash outside of the Archons. Archons are great against the Ling aspect of this. They're not so great against the Hydra aspect of it. This is an awkward fight because charge is contaminated, so no charge right now. So these Zealots are way worse than they should be. The Lings on the right side are huge because they are going to tank, and not a single force field was dropped. So huge amounts of potential from Shameless's army just disappeared. Wow, he didn't realize that SHIN was coming as aggressively as this. I mean, I think he was set up to be kind of aggressive himself, obviously, but like SHIN just catches him mid-map, and without the charge done, those Zealots are so bad. That's going to be rough. Sometimes I wonder if it's just better completely wall the natural and recall the... You can't just recall all the probes to the third, though, because what if the probes need to run away from the third, then you can't get back into the natural, too. Probably not worth it. I like the idea, though. Alright, it's going to be SHIN Percival up next, guys, as we round out SHIN's final game of the event. We'll get that ready to go. So yeah, let's hop on over to Korea. Get this ready to begin. Cool, cool, cool. Next game, SHIN versus Percival. After SHIN versus Percival, we go into Percival versus Shameless, and that's going to be us for the day. We'll see what time it is. We've actually had it's been pretty long so far. The TVC and the PTVP coming up is a little bit longer. Yeah. Let's see. I was thinking about maybe playing some Zero Space, but it's really annoying. I'm so annoyed with myself. I started all my streams like an hour later this week because I'm like, they're shorter streams. So if I start an hour later, it's like better time zone. But now I'm like, I wish I'd started my normal time and I had like an extra hour to like play Zero Space or something on stream. I think tomorrow I might try. Oh, tomorrow's Kung Fu Cup. Thursday and Friday I might try and start like an hour earlier than the StarCraft games and play some Zero Space. I want to check it out. Well, I'm definitely going to check it out. Never mind, I want to, but I want to play some of it on stream. Yeah. Yeah, I really screwed myself because usually when I finish streaming, like in an hour and a half is usually when like Ellie wants feeding, and then usually me and Helen get food and stuff. So it's like, unless I have like a specifically long day or something, it just like throws the entire day off if I extend the stream for no reason. Well, no reason, but you know what I mean. So I should have just, I don't know what I was thinking. Probably wasn't thinking, to be honest. Probably wasn't thinking. Blackrock gonna be our opening map. Get this hosted. When my maps load, I'll even type in Blackrock to try and speed it up. Little trick. Cool. Alright, we are ready to go, guys. Just waiting for one more caster to join us here. Where have all the other casters been, by the way? Like, we'll see. I don't know where all the other casters have been. You haven't had dinner yet, so you can wait longer for tea. But I want tea. Wow, Helen, you're just trying to make me work more? Oh, yeah. I'm coming up with a great excuse to not work more, and you're just like, no, honestly, it doesn't matter. You go wild. Players are ready. Percival, SHIN coming up. Get this ready to rumble. You're wasting away there. Well, have dinner. have dinner and then have tea in like 2.5 hours. Like, that's not gonna affect you, no. Have dinner, and we walk Ellie when I finish, and then we have tea after. It's smart. You're trying to get me out of it? Ay. Wait, get me out of what? I'm confused. I don't even know what's going on anymore. There's too much IRL crossing with my StarCraft. Bottom left-hand side, SHIN is our blue Zerg player. He is up against Percival in the top right. Our red Terran players are getting to game 1 of this BO3 action. Kick this off, get this started, and see what's going to happen. Time is never wasted away in Twitch chat. I'm glad this fire makes a nice little noise on top of this cliff. Something for us to be entertained by while we wait for things to take place. Problem is we're about to lose vision with the overload going away. Oh, they still burn in the darkness, though. Well, it's nice that they keep burning. I mean, they lose their sound, but they still keep burning. Wait, do the ones that are out of... It's kind of rare, no? Usually animations pause when you're out of sight. Am I crazy? This thing is blown in the wind, too. Oh, maybe I'm just losing my mind. Maybe I'm just losing my mind. I play SC2 on and off, and it was nice to come back to stable openings. Now it's weird. It's like coming back to chess and then tell you, oops, we changed the pawns. No, everyone has opinions. To be fair, your timings might not be completely correct, but like the general idea of your builds are still very similar. Like if you want a Reaper expanded Terran, you still kind of do things as before. It's gonna feel bad, but that's actually just how the builds are now. They just feel bad. Like they're not timed out as well as they used to be. But you can kind of just still do very similar things. It's just you have to kind of base it on like the order rather than the specific timing per se. Why are people so angry about the patches? They should be happy that their 20-year-old gamers are getting some love. Yeah. I can't even be bothered to come up with the counter argument to this one without being rude, so. Ooh, SCV goes down. Marine gets both the lings at least. That's something. Yeah, I mean, I've answered this question enough times that now, like, if I answer it again, I'm just gonna, like, start being sarcastic and stuff, so it's better not to. I mean, TLDR, like, we already knew the game was gonna get updates. Like, they've never said they're gonna stop putting balance patches out. So when the balance patches are bad, people are gonna be upset, like, you know? It's like if you promised like an update and it sucks, like you could be upset about that, no? There you go. Very diplomatic answer. Got Marines gathering up, Roach Roaring coming in, the drones will produce. Gonna have that stim pack. About halfway done here currently from Percival. Starport is about to be done as the factory. We'll get the reactor done as well, and we can swap that starport onto the reactor and get the medevacs going for this marine drop. So the 211 powering up very shortly. It's pretty sick. Early CC, 211 is going to be what, leaving? It used to say like 440 was like a great time. 440, 445 was a great time for 211 to be leaving. It's 445. Medevacs have what, like 20 seconds on them? A 20-second delayed 211 with strong eco opening is kind of nuts on an 8-worker start. It's wild. Who's favored? Typically I'd favor SHIN, but he lost to Percival yesterday. Percival's had some good results lately. Medevacs are just going to come across, try and see what we can do. Last thing I'm going to say on the comments for I Can't Cut the Mustard. The issue is at some point, the guy that updates StarCraft has to go and update the other games that Blizzard have. And so they're just going to leave it at some point, and it's not guaranteed that we're going to keep getting updates. So the point of view of like, oh, it's fine because we'll just keep updating it until it's good, is not actually true. They will update it until the guy has got other projects, because we don't have a dedicated StarCraft guy. You know? And then that's it. They're going to go work on the other things for the next 7 months. You know? So, yeah. That's kind of the problem with this logic. It's just where they're biting off more than they can chew, essentially. This was a pretty good start from Percival. You get 4 roaches, you get a queen. You killed a few marines from SHIN. I mean, SHIN is not exactly on a super crazy work account either. And so roaches are going to see these medevacs. We already have roach speed. Obviously, dropping around about against roaches would be pretty decent. Just going to see the medevacs loading up again. We pull back over. Scan comes down. A couple of creep tumors will get caught. The roach is going to get in. The marines pull back. Wouldn't mind trying to hit onto the roaches. Not quite able to just yet. Not quite going to find that connection just yet. Old command lifts off, comes over to the right side, just going to take the third base. Percival comes back in, and those medevacs will load, and we're just going to go boosting away once again. So a lot of units from SHIN. He's committing to 53 drones and a lot of Roach Ravager. It's going to be a tough map to break through on, although the bunker's not ready yet. We don't have the SCVs here either. Usually this is an SCV pull to help the defense. Do we need it? Tank's in a very good place. No corrosive battles on the tanks until just now. First tank doesn't even go down. Oh, this is an easy hold from Percival. He's going to stem through, and the Ravager's now going to be exposed as well. Not ideal. Bioforce continue to go after that. The Ravagers continue to take damage. The Roaches too, pushing that out. That will be that. And yeah, I don't know if the guy that updates StarCraft also just heroes or whatever, but like, he's clearly not just a StarCraft guy, because otherwise what's he doing for the other 8 months of the year for the last, 8 months, right? So, yeah. And I don't want someone to take this out of context or something, but... this is only dangerous because Percival loaded up to go across the map. I mean, he's going to come back and he's still going to clean up everything. Ravagers are so expensive to replace as well. You can see SHIN has no gas available in the bank. So replenishing those Ravagers is going to be extremely tough. SHIN knows that this attack was not good enough, and SHIN continues to have not a great... Like, he's 2-0 in this group, but it's a shaky 2-0 because he keeps losing maps along the way. Lost a map to Alex, Shameless, and now to Percival, and we'll have to win 2 in a row to try and rectify this, as we are going to go to Lockdown for a map 2. My maps have loaded now, which makes this a little bit easier for me. You highly doubt they'll stop adding updates until the game reaches a good spot. I mean, you just have a lot more faith in Blizzard than literally everyone that's had anything to do with Blizzard for the last few years. Like, I mean, like, I'm not trying to be negative for the sake of being negative. I'm negative because we've experienced how StarCraft 2 is tread and how people, what the approach to StarCraft is. Like, the reality is, like, this is just what we've grown to expect, and we wouldn't feel like this. Like, if we were shown that StarCraft is a priority and they actually care about making the game better, nobody would be upset because we'd just be like, this was silly. We'll see what they do next time. But, like, every single thing that they've changed has also been another change where everyone's like, what are we doing? Why are we doing it? Like, you can even just look at this set of patches that we've had, and you can be like, none of these really make sense one after the other. It's like, you change the worker starting count to 8 to slow the game down, and then we speed up everything else to speed the game back up from what we just slowed down. Like, this is the problem. Like, even if you just consolidate down to this set of patches, it doesn't really make sense. And that's why people don't really have faith, And there's no communication either. It's just like, oh, here's the new patch. Command centers are now this price, and these things are changed as well. Like, there's just no communication at all. Like, I don't think it's unfair for people to be feeling extremely skeptical about it. And honestly, at the end of the day, I still think StarCraft's going to be fine, because StarCraft is a very good game, and it will likely figure it out. But there are absolutely better and worse time frames in StarCraft. Like, whenever in the past the meta has been heavy sky toss and PvZ, the game was a lot less interesting than when the game was not heavy sky toss, right? Like, certain ways, that doesn't mean the game was bad to watch completely, but it was certainly less interesting to watch for a lot of people, right? So it's not even necessarily that, like, the game's going to be, like, left in a state where it's, like, no good or something. I don't think anyone's really worried about that. Because StarCraft will naturally balance itself, and as a community we could change maps or something if we really had to or so. But the reality... But it is just like, it would be nice if we got updates that helped push the game forward, and it doesn't feel like any of the updates have helped to push the game forward is the issue, I think, that people have, right? I take that back. I 100% think the Warp Gate changes were great. I actually think the Warp Gate changes were really fun, because the Warp Gate changes actually made the game fresh. They are making a lot of Protoss builds and game plans very different. Warp Gate changes were really cool. I wish we had, like, a change which kind of helped Terran and Zerg also shift their matchups in a little bit here and there in a similar vein, right? Because all that's changed for Terran is that you do your build order differently. And it feels worse than before, That's not fun, that's not fresh, I mean, I'm not saying it's super fun for Protoss players having to relearn how warp gates work either. But, like, if you like to experiment, then that's actually fun to play with. Whereas as Terrans, it's like, oh, my CCs are cheaper now. I'm going to change my build from last week. So yeah. Like I said, I don't think everything's been bad. I just, yeah. I just personally think there's a lot of things they could have done that should have been a lot more interesting at the end of the day. So. But it's a fun discussion point. If nothing else, the YouTubers are feasting on the content. Man, the YouTubers live for the freaking patch days so they can get their big videos out for like the next week, and they've had like 5 patch days in the last month, man. It's the perfect time to be a YouTuber. But or do we just hate new things? I don't think people hate new things though. Like, I don't think people even hate new things. Like, yeah, people sometimes are, against or adverse to change, but like, I think a lot of people, like, honestly, if they added a new unit for every matchup or for every race, people would love it. The vast majority of people would love it, even if it was imbalanced, because it would genuinely just be fun to play with a new unit, you know? And they're actually, you know what I mean? And I know they maybe can't add a new unit, but like, this would genuinely actually be fun. And maybe in like, a long down that time of the line, we're like, man, those new units sucks. They're stupid or something, right? But like, the amount of complaining would be so minimal in comparison to what you're seeing right now. And I think that's really a sign of that the current changes are not just people being adverse to change, but that the current changes are actually just going in not necessarily a great direction. And there's some people that love these changes too. Like, some people actually really enjoy it, which is fair enough. But there's also never been this massive of an outcry against changes so consistently and so consecutively, right? I think that's worth thinking about as well, to consider where these changes have come out to. He's going to get an Overlord, a couple Hellions and a Reaper on the left side, going to hit the hatch. So we've seen a couple of units are going to start fighting. Queen's going to hit the medevac. Ling's going to run through. This medevac can't get away because the Queen target fire has been good. So this early group of units is going to go down. Medevac got in for a bit more healing. Okay, they're not going to go down. Wow. Terran's nuts. Holy doodles. What was that? This looked really bad for Percival. Being able to come back with the medevac and heal a little extra is nice, but man, SHIN just truly ran out of units. It's crazy. Lift up, we get away. Lings get a bit more cleaner, but these are more Lings that had to be made rather than drones as well. You know, just as your third comes up, you would like to be saturating that. Instead, we're not able to do this. Seven meters on the way already from the side of SHIN. So his Spire is up, and he's going to try and take air control with the mutas and map control in general. Obviously, mutas are high octane, go, go, go kind of unit. Once they start harassing, they're going to, want to basically never stop. This is a Cloakless Banshee, got a couple drones. I don't hate it. Mutas may even waste some time chasing after it for a few moments as the missile turrets start up as well. So you prepare the defense at home as Percival. He's going to go 5 racks behind the triple CC. It's going to float into position right now as well. Orbital just comes across. The mutas gather up. A couple of SCVs going to come over as well. Tank is going to siege the rest of the Marines gather. We are going to be seeing the Mutalisks diving into the main base. Going to aim for a combat shield. The missile turret is about to finish. To be fair, like, hitting the combat shield usually forced the SCVs to get a repair, which they did in the end. Yeah, I guess this was fine. I wish he'd just gone for the mineral line straight away, perhaps, because I don't think he was ever really going to get combat shield, but this is nice. Gets a few Marines now, maybe the siege tank as well. SCVs have to pull in. Tank is going to go down. That's nice. I mean, you don't really want to play tanks against Ling Bait Muta, but obviously if you already have a tank, it's just nice to still have it. We are just losing Marines by the second as we are just about going to start stabilizing the natural, but these SCVs on the third base are in some serious trouble. That's now 10 workers killed, going to go to 12 if we get both of these that were wandering across. Oh, fantastic stuff from SHIN. He's going to try and stay out of this Widowmine range here with the mutas at the moment. And these mutas have done serious work, as this was... I mean, first of all, just didn't have the Marine cannon issue, which isn't super surprising, I guess. He did lose some Marines. Oh, I still thought he was going to have more. His barracks in the main have been pumping Marines without add-ons even, so He's being that desperate just to get as many units up as possible. Shin now has drawn to 72. He'll be catching on the upgrades. The armor relate from Percival amongst all of this, so his upgrade advantage is going to be minimized. He's still going to have a lead into 2-2, but it's not going to be as long as what it could have been. So there's definitely going to be less timing window in this game for Percival to take those advantages. Marines is going to be there. Lings get turned back the other side. Mutas back into the center, over to the right. They knock down the cooling tower. Percival just already interested in trying to make it difficult for the Zerg to attack in. Adding rocks, blocking passageways. It makes sense. He's lost a ton of units early, and if Shin hits him when he hits melee upgrades, it can be very difficult for Percival to survive through this. So denying one of the faster reinforcement pathways could be a good way to help with that. Playing a Bane Muta would like to try and come across over to the right. So maybe seeing the Mutas are going to chase after the Medivacs. Did we kill a Muta here? We've killed one Muta. I know, it's usually when the Mutas get this much done, you've been giving up some Mutas in order to kind of stay consistent, kind of pushing in for damage. There's an Overseer's coming about. Widowmine on the right side. Marines, Medivac still gather together for a few moments. We still push around. Mutas are back to the left. Percival trying to come across here. This drop's not going to get cleaned up because obviously the Mutas are on the top, so it is nice because it might pull the Mutas back to come and clean this out. Like, it's not like we need the Mutas to stop this from doing damage, but obviously if we kill the Medivacs, that truly is the end of it. They are on their way now, and so just going to be guaranteed kills. Well, bad movement from Shin, because he could have cut this off better once the boost hits. So the Medivacs actually get away alive. It's pretty sick. This was great from Percival. Being able to pull out of this with those Medivacs alive is actually really good. I really did not feel like that was going to be the way this played. Plus 2 melee, plus 2 carapace, both coming up. A few Banes crash into a couple of depots as well. Widowmines crashing onto a few Banes also. The Muta's looking to try and get back around. A couple of Vikings are going to say no, not just yet. The rest of this Ling Bane would like to come back through as we have a Widowmine. Going to hit for a couple of Zerglings. The Marines are still coming over. Banes on this top side getting caught as well. Also getting pushed away. Next couple of Widowmines. It's going to blow up, not going to do too much. But the Widowmine connects in. These Banes are going to go crashing through toward these SCVs. And this Shin just starting to overwhelm again. A very good start for him. And starting to see the repercussions of that on the Terran side is this 4th base orbital is going to have to lift up into the skies. The Mutas get rid of a couple of the Vikings. Is there anything here to save us? The Widowmine goes down instantly due to the Overseer nearby. And we're just going to get the Medivacs as well. We can get the orbital after this. If we lose the 4th, it feels very dismal here for the Terran player, because then you just don't have... You can't even really sit back on economy at this point without the 4th base, right? It's going to be extremely tough for you to survive through this as Shin looks to even this series out 1-1. Percival's doing the same thing as Clement, making only orbitals. It kind of makes sense, right? They're cheaper. Planetaries are an interesting thing, where planetaries... He's just flown into multiple Widowmines in a row, and that one was actually pretty deadly onto the Mutalist count. That really shut the Mutalist count down a lot. I didn't really mention the first two because I was like, okay, like the splash is like, it's a big shot, but it's like, it's splash damage that's just going to get regened. Not quite the case when you then fly into a couple extra. What was I saying? I forgot what I was saying before that. Oh, about the orbitals. Yeah, planetaries are kind of an interesting thing, right? Because planetaries obviously damage output is good, and defending yourself is good, but it gets to a certain point in the matchup where it's like, planetaries really are good at defending against like a certain number of Lings, and that's about it. Otherwise, if you already have units here, an orbital isn't that bad to have, because you can also lift the orbital and save it. Obviously less so against Mutas, but against like a lot of... Oh my goodness, holy Widowmines. Let's just stop. Oh my god! It's mine mayhem. Widowmine enjoyers are feasting. It's not going to save the game, but like it actually made it. It didn't even really make it competitive. It just made it exciting, I guess. Holy Widowmines, that was a little wild. Holy Widowmines. Get one more Widowmine there. Turn it back around for this Bioforce. Clean this up, push this back, and get that dealt with. That's how mines look versus me. Yeah. Yeah. Damn. That was a little crazy. That was a little crazy. This time the Widowmine hits some Terra units as well. GG gets called. Again, a SHIN advantage early, really. The first mutas just did so much. You do that much damage. It wasn't even like super fast mutas either. Like it was fast mutas, but it wasn't like too base muta where it's like these mutas need to do damage for the game to even out a bit. They were like fast mutas, but they weren't like giga quick mutas and stuff. So yeah, GG's. Let me host game 3, which is going to be on Old Sun Temple. And also need to multitask us into... Oh, I hate it when we have 4-player maps because they don't show up in the... Oh, there we go. Found it. It does show up in the map list properly. Never mind. Love 4-player maps. No complaints from me. Got this hosted. I just need to open my Google Drive so I remember to put the replays in for people after this series. Oh, after this tournament today. Folder B. So Monday's 96 yesterday as well. Put that in the replay drive as well when we finish up. Alright, Percival SHIN game 3 coming up, guys. You love the line didn't make it competitive, but it made it exciting. I mean, in a closer game, those Widowmines shift the balance, right? It's just... Yeah. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough still for Percival to have a chance, but... It was more exciting than Percival just GGing out because there was like so much Ling Bane. Like it made it so there was an amount of Ling Bane where he got to kill some stuff still, right? Like afterwards, so... Just gonna have the lobby hosting bug here, guys. Alright, we're successfully loading. Korean server is not our friend, if you're not aware. The Korean server is not letting games host properly at the moment, so you get to the bottom of the countdown, it just goes beep, 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 and then just kicks everyone out of the lobby. It's been a bug that came around only on the Korean server, and only since... in the last week or so, I think it started, so... yeah. PG Mac on the 105 stream watch stream. Lost a lot of your streaks when you were out of town last weekend, but not this one. Hell yeah, thank you so much for the 105 months. Appreciate it. 105 months, 105 stream watch streak. And we can call it 105 months if you want. We can pretend it's a sub. Ay. Oh, you know what we should do? We should probably sell out a little bit at the start of this game. I'm going to go at 30 seconds for the ads to finish up, and then we're going to do the sellout into a full audience, guys. We've gone below 500 subs again. Honestly, this 500 sub battle is crazy. I don't know what it is. It's like when we drop off like a big amount of subs sometimes, like it happens, right? But like we drop off a big amount of subs and then it's like trying to get back to like the sub, like the 100 mark is like so difficult. It's really wild. Alright, ads are done. Welcome, guys, to the sellout segment. Dun, dun, dun. Just very briefly going to say, obviously, this is a WardiTV tournament, part of the WardiTV 2026 series, where we have points being earned throughout the entirety of the year into the end-of-year WardiTV Championship. If you're enjoying the tournament today and you want to see more of this, and obviously this builds into the WardiTV Summer Championship, $5,000 that's coming up. And obviously all the other events that we have going on. So if you're enjoying any of this, multiple ways to support. First of all, 3 things to do. Follow, like, subscribe. Easy to do, very quick to do. make sure you do that. Follow, like, subscribe. On YouTube, obviously, liking and subscribing free. If you're really enjoying the stream and you would like to go further and support monetarily, you can get into the YouTube membership system or super chats. Obviously, there is also the subscribing on Twitch. Use your Prime sub. So it's just saying we are 4 subs shy of 500 again. So we're continuing to battle to stay above 500 subs. If you can help us out with that, much appreciated. Or never mind, Ian's got our backs on that one with the 5 gifted subs, which works as well. Going out to Coward Mont Blanc, Vishak Hannibal, or Visca Hannibal, Beowulf, Bo OSRS, and Bear McBearing. Thank you so much, Ian, for the 5 gifted. Appreciate you to push us back over 500. So obviously you support the subs if you want. But the other thing I just wanted to say quickly, guys, is obviously the Patreon page, patreon.com/WardiTV. 100% of everything on Patreon goes directly into StarCraft 2 tournament prize pools. So check out the Patreon page. It is a big reason why events like this happen, why the Summer Championship happen. Without your support on that Patreon, we would not be running events of this size. Sadly, these are some of the biggest events that remain in StarCraft 2. And like I say, it is a big part of that because of your support. So even if it's just a small donation on the Patreon, it doesn't matter what size it is, anything helps. It all adds up. So check out the Patreon, patreon.com/WardiTV. Like I say, it goes a long way, helps out massively. And most importantly, it keeps paying out the players so they can keep on playing StarCraft 2 for us. And we can keep on enjoying the games. Wonderful. That was a nice little sellout, wasn't it? Nice little sellout. SCV coming forward, Debo coming down. It's a semi-frequent issue on NA custom games. Really, I've not actually had the bug on NA at all. I've only had it on Korea so far. 100% of the time it's been on Korea for me. It's wild. Gonna have the link speed coming up. We do have the Hellion going across the map, the Overlord pulling over to the left as well. Hellion's gonna get to the center layer, about to finish. This is a very fast layer this time. Then are we gonna go spy here? Are we gonna throw it down? Feels like it. There it is. Cross spawn's gonna be good for the mutas as well. Gonna have a lot of space to work with. Got 8 Marines going to unload to this hatchery. I mean, it's kind of nice against a 2-base layer to put Marine pressure on like this, because you're going to be on a lack of units, and especially because you're only on 2 bases, the Queen count is much lower. So pressure with these Marines is much harder to deal with. The 3rd hatchery is not here as quickly as well, so you don't have creep here to help you out. These Lings have to run in. The Hellions at least are not over here to help, and so we will be able to push the Marines away, and the 3rd hatch will survive as the Marines drop into the main. Queen is going to be shooting. Medevac taking some damage. Things run up and just going to get straight in. After this, as the Medevac takes some damage. It's going to get the Lings that's going to run through, going to jump towards the Reaper and the Hellions. Marine's going to get caught there as well. Do take some splash damage. Good escape from Percival. It's a big game, this one. Obviously, for SHIN, if you win this, you go 3-0 in the group. First place guaranteed. If you lose this, you're 2-1 as SHIN. Still a good chance to advance, but there is that tiebreaker situation. Considering SHIN lost a game in every series he played, it's not exactly a great tiebreaker for him either, as that Banshee gets caught this time, does not get a couple shots off like it did last time around. Those meters clearing up. But imagine Percival's defense looks a little smoother this time. He's still moving pretty early to the 3rd base. He's going to gather all of his Marines there. It's 8 mutas versus 8 Marines that do not have combat shield or 1-1 or anything. If we just get a couple of these Marines early, it feels very hopeful. We lose 1 muta. We've got a couple Marines so far. Going to find a couple extra Marines. I think SHIN went back in a little bit too soon. I think he should have waited for the stim to expire and then potentially gone back after the Marines. Because then you obviously force a secondary stim, and then the Marines are already starting to kill themselves. Mutas are going around the left side. A few Marines and the medevac out the front. He's going to come about. Marines just going to be there after those Mutas again, pushing this back. Obviously, getting onto the map now is going to be hard for Percival, especially because it's such a big map. Fourth hatch coming through. Melee upgrades. Carapace coming about. Flyer Carapace coming over. Mulet's going to run over to the left-hand side. Try and get in towards a couple of these SCVs. It's going to come to the bottom. Just going to be seeing a couple tanks going to be set there. Just going to be seeing the Marines are going to get picked away at here. I mean, we're actually not going to go after the 2 Marines. I thought we could get the 2 Marines, then quickly go after the siege tank after that as well. We got the 2 Marines who pull away from that tank. Just going to be having the Mutas regather in a couple moments. Just come back to the bottom again. Just going to be seeing the medevac to the Marines. Going to come across. Just going to get after a couple of these Mutas. We are going to see one getting picked off already. Rocks do get knocked down. The Mutas and Lings come back around the right side. Just going to have Drilling Claws coming up as well. Obviously, Drilling Claws amazing for dealing with Lingbane Muta because you're going to have very mobile mines that can burrow very quickly on the fly when they need to. Could even maybe see some Drilling Claw mine drops could be an option as well if we get a moment of safety with these Mutas on the map somewhere. Maybe we can sneak a medevac out or so. Medevac pushed away once more. Lingbane going to be nearby. Marines and mines send out to the center. The Muta's going to pull back around the left. The Marine's still chasing. These Lings opening up these rocks going to make this base a good hit. I think this is a map where actually I don't love the orbital 4th base because I think Ling run-bys on a big map like this are going to be hard to stop. And so I think there's going to be a time where it's like, man, I wish I was, had a planetary here so I didn't have to have units in position to deal with it. This is a good group of Marines, though. Wood Mines are going to soften up the reinforcements that arrive for the Banes to connect before the lift-up happens. Things are very close to getting rid of this set of rocks as Percival pushes up through the center. 4 orbitals right now, about to have his 8th racks finished for a bit more aggression. The Ling's going to go after a few more SCVs. The Wood Mine shots going off. The Marine medevac going back over to the right side. After this Overlord, the Lingbane ready to run through. Let's try and get after this hatchery. The Mutas pull back away. The Lingbane still spreading, ready to run into this position. Banes just crash in. Just going to be seeing these Marines. Just going to get jumped on. We are going to see these Wood Mines connected. And we are going to see another Wood Mine shot hitting the Overseer. The Mutas are still chasing. This army has been swept up. This is massive for SHIN right now, especially if we get to all these medevacs. It's going to take a lot of control of this game away from Percival. I don't think we should... I mean, how far is too far? When have we gone too far right now? Next round of Baneling's going to start morphing up. Just going to see the Mutas getting a little couple of grabs. Widowmine's going to get knocked down as well. And we are going to be seeing SHIN. This was a big win because now he's going to be able to really establish up these bases. His Ultra Cavern's on the way. He survived through what was one of the scarier timing windows of the Terran player in this game. And now he's going to be able to be on a much stronger army than just Lingbane Muta. Before we go much further, Bio stepping through, Ling goes down. And there's the medevac in the background. Moving about a little bit as well. We're going to work our way through the rocks with these Lings. The Mutas are going to get after the SCVs. Are we going to get this turret? We will. The Widow Mine jumped into the medevac, which is a mistake for a second. This is a little chaotic here. Into the main. We're going to continue after the turrets here. Turrets doing their job, though, buying time. Just going to grab this missile turret. Just going to see the Lings trying to get this set of rocks. And yeah, guys, it's me typing in chat. I'm not going to argue balance while we're in the middle of a cool game, but I'm genuinely curious about some people's takes in chat, so I'm trying to find out. That's all. Lings want to run in. Planetary Fortress going to hit a few more Lings. And we do have a planetary to help out this position. I think that's good. I think with these rocks down, this is just a necessary addition to add that defensive position. We just knock down the Sensor Tower. The Changelings are going to move around as well. There's going to be there. A little bit of bio going to come across. The meters pull back. The Ling Bane going to get back over. Meters pull away once more. I'm just going to be seeing the bio force back to that left-hand side. The Ling's going to go running through, looking for this planetary fortress. The Banes, the meters going to be nearby. So knock down the Sensor Tower. These Banes are just going to commit through. So this planetary goes down. No fifth base for the Terran. I mean, the big part of this mission is getting away with enough units that this wasn't super costly. Again, the Lings, the Mutas pulling back over. Drones pull back. Bioforce going to get here. This hatch goes down. Nice from Percival, though. Some of the bigger armies absolutely able to step forward and have some stance. I mean, it's going to be the question of the fifth base. Get a fifth base up. It's going to feel a lot better for you here as the Terran. This is, by the way, why I kind of like this map as a 4-player map. I talked a bit about this yesterday, but I actually think this map's a really cool one. Because right now, this doesn't feel like a 4-player map, right? This actually feels like we're playing like a cross-spawn 2-player map. Usually when we play a 4-player map, the map is really like segmented into like 4 corners. But this map really flows into a fifth base. And I think that's really cool. I actually am really a big fan of Old Sun Temple for that. As someone who's a little bit of a 4-player map hater, not necessarily because of balance, but just because, you know, to me, a 4-player map on cross spawns should just be a 2-player map with more interesting corners. This map actually plays kind of interestingly beyond the 4th base. So I kind of like that about it. So yeah, and this is a great example of this right now. Like, it's just like this 5th base doesn't feel like, you know, the 3rd of another corner of the map, you know? What mines are going to step over. Bioforce gathering up. Force is going to gather here. Meters is going to dive in. Missile turret goes down. SCVs are going to fall. The Ultras and the Lings still coming about. We got the meters into the natural. Again, this is the nice part of still having these meters up. The counter attacks, the backstabs you can make. Reactor going to get shot at. Missile turret into the main base is going to get shot at as well. Another couple of these missile turrets going down. The bio on the other side, not going to have a good time. There's not enough bio. At least the meters aren't here, so the Medivacs can play the retreating game. Of course, the benefit for the Zerg is that the Medivacs are doing, the Mutilates are doing damage across the map, so... Banes crashing. That's a very Marauder-heavy force, so it's kind of expensive for those Banes, but they do clear it up. SHIN pretty rich right now as he expands down into the bottom right side as well. Bane Ultra still going to step through, sitting down this ramp. The Ultras are going to keep on moving by. Widowmine shot going to land onto one of these Ultras. And a couple of Widowmines going off. The Ling's going to get caught. Ultra Bane is going to keep on chasing. You're just going to see the Widowmines on the Overseer. Overseer, not even, I mean, obviously, if you can bait them onto the Terran army bit, that's great. But more than anything, just making sure it doesn't land on the rest of the Zerg. Mutalisk count has taken a beating recently, and so it's not going to be as effective at picking away at some of these Medivacs, but also the Liberators as well. We have had ghosts out, and a few of the snipers have been big. We actually go back into Mutas, as SHIN says he wants a little bit more Mutalisk play still available to him. I don't hate that, because actually I think this Mutalisk count being a bit higher it was A, a good threat, and B, it's going to be really good for now knocking down a handful of libs that are starting to come out. And you know what? Someone just said no Marauders, and it's funny because there was a lot of Marauders, but they died. 21 Marauders dead in this game. They were very recently, because it was like the Marauders over here, the Marauders over here. So they've been dying in the previous fight. So it's not like Percival didn't build Marauders. He actually has just had them taken out. So some of the fights I didn't love as much because it was Bane's crashing the Marauders work out well because now the Marauders aren't there to help against the Ultras. It's been a really cool game 3 here. We just have the Lings are going to continue down. This Ghost gets caught. Meters are going to come back over as well. Nice shoots, Meters get caught. The Bio Ghost Lib coming back over again. Nice Widowmine shot on the bottom side. Just going to see the Ultra Bane coming back. This Planetary Gun is, again, huge. It opens up this bottom side very nicely. We're fairly heavily mined out over here. Does a Widowmine guarantee a kill on a meter? Yes. Widowmine one-shots the first meter, but it splashes the rest around it. The splash meters don't die. Just the one that's the target. This is a good moment for SHIN to be pushing forward. He's getting a lot of work done. Ooh, reinforcements. Got to be careful there. Widowmines not going to do too much. It's a little bit of a scrambled defense right now from Percival. I think it's going to be okay. Can we get the snipes off? We can, but there's only 2 ghosts, so 2 snipes ain't going to do it. Widowmines might do it, though, as they're going to hit the Ultras as they retreat. Not going to clean them up, but hurt them a little further. SHIN's reinforcement wave is 44 Zerglings, a couple new Ultras on the way as well. Of course, this entire bottom side wiped out. The top left has been coming online. Going to take another base up here. What is kind of nice for the Terran is if you hold this base is kind of held as well because that is essentially a main base, so you can only get there through the top left natural. So that is going to be kind of a next base that comes fairly freely. And obviously, mutas are something that can maybe hit that base. There we go. It's going to be a big run in. The mutas are trying to find their angle to get in on top of these Liberators. They want to come in late so they don't get Widowmined, and they do manage to do that. The Libs go down. We're now going to start focusing up on the Medivacs. There's a few Marines and Ghosts remaining. What are we going to lose here overall as Percival? He's going to have a bunch of snipes available, but is it enough? Widowmines go off on the Overseers. The mutas will continue to chase. I'm not sure if the Ghosts are going to be able to do enough here. We are still going after the Medivacs to stop the retreat. Another couple of Ghosts going down. The Ultra still chasing as well. Widowmine's actually going to unburrow rather than firing there. But they go off on towards the couple of Ultras. This Liberator goes down as well. SHIN just has too much, and Percival is getting overrun here on cross-spawned Old Sun Temple. Great effort from Percival to kind of keep it up, because it definitely felt like SHIN had some really good fights early that already set him off on a good track. He made a lot of good fights and a lot of engagements that helped keep him in it. He got the expansions up too. Kind of a very fun TVZ where the Zerg didn't have to break down these extra expansions and is going to just win the game off of trading before that point. You can see resources lost is the big story of this. And a lot of this resources lost is the effectiveness of the mutas as well. I think the army composition from SHIN has been well handled in this game. He actually found really good value out of a lot of his units throughout this as well. As Percival losing the top left, eventually here to the Ultras, it will just go down. He's losing reinforcements to the mutas. This should just be game 3 wrapped up, and SHIN will guarantee himself first place in this group, and that does mean that Percival and Shameless will play a best of 3 that straight up decides a playoff spot. As GG gets called and Percival taps out, SHIN will take it 2-1. Great game of TVZ. Great game of TVZ. Alright, guys. We will run some ads, and we will get ready for Percival Shameless, the deciding series. So SHIN will get out of here with first place. First place, but very close each and every time. 2-1 in each game, but he gets there. And now, like I say, Percival and Shameless will be a battle to advance to the playoffs, into the quarterfinals. We'll hop on over to NA and get ready for that Shameless Percival best of 3 to see who will be joining us in the playoffs and who will end up eliminated here in the WardiTV Summer Cup Group B. We just will start. We'll get this ready to go in a moment. Alright. Matchup that will send one player through to the playoffs, and then that would mean there'll just be a best of 5 away from a top 4 and hence a seed into the Summer Championship. Again, we got Group C and D coming up over the next couple of days as well. I'm just going to bring this up on screen for you guys to see what Group C and D look like. Tomorrow's Kung Fu Cup, but then on Thursday and Friday we move into Group C and D. That Group D is looking... Honestly, Group C looks great as well. Mixing with maybe some curveballs, and Christiana very good as well and competitive. And then Group D is obviously a pretty beastly group. Probably the best group we have in the tournament as well. Oh, so I was reading, I mean, people are arguing in chat about stuff. I think the one thing I want to say is that I can't really agree with this statement that these patches have brought variety to the game. Like, because the variety that people are claiming is now in the game is variety that already existed that people just didn't want to admit to for some reason or just see. I don't really get it. Like, PvZ, every game opened the same, yes. But you know what still happens? Every game in PvZ, we open the same way because that's how PvZ is. So you open Oracle or you die. We've seen a little playing around with like gateways and stuff, but like it's just not being good. Like PvZ is very much so still. You open with an Oracle and Adepts to apply pressure. That's how you open in PvZ, right? Like, but like, when you talk about the build, people are like, yeah, well, you know, this change. It's like, did it though? I cast a shit ton of StarCraft 2. And don't get me wrong, like, obviously things are a little bit different. But to say it's increased variety... Because you're saying, oh, people are sometimes doing this or this. And it's like, go watch some videos from like 2 months ago. They're also doing this or this. You know, like, I can't see this argument at all. I'm not even trying to, like, fight or anything. I cannot truly see it. As someone who watches a crap ton of StarCraft 2, the game has not become more varied. Have we seen some new stuff crop up? Yes, because we've seen some interesting changes. Obviously, Protoss matchups play quite differently with the Warp Gate in a lot of ways. So yes, we've seen some variation there. But the overarching scheme of PvT, exactly the same as it was. PvZ has switched into a Stargate thing, but it still opens in the exact same way and gets sort of there. ZVT still has the same ways of playing as you had before. Obviously, ghosts are a bit different, and that changes it, but I just don't see this variety argument at all. I really don't. Well, if you could start with the factories of Terra and then barracks to make mech more of a thing. Would that make mech more of a thing? It's not even that... It's not... I mean, making mech more of a thing, going factory instead of a barracks first, like going barracks into factory is very cheap. And you just get a useful unit in a Reaper anyway, right? Having less worker start does not add a couple more inner layers to the onion earlier rushes relative to fast expand, for example? No. Because the issue with the lower worker start... Oh, here we go again. Okay. The issue with the lower worker start is that basically you add a lot more coin flippy builds, but people don't want to coin flip because coin flipping just feels bad. And it also isn't fun to watch. So the problem is that if you get aggressive, in the past with 12 workers, you had more economy to at least do something and then fall back into something else. But now, if you get aggressive and you're unsuccessful, you lost the game, right? So the workers did not really... The worker change in the grand scheme of things... And you know what? Honestly, we can't even really just talk about the worker change right now, because whatever the worker change did to slow down the game, we have seen multiple changes that have then sped the game back up again, which which is why the argument of saying that the changes are logical doesn't make sense either. Because the entire thing that the one statement we got from Blizzard about what they were trying to achieve with the patch got immediately undone when they started speeding the game back up. The one thing they actually said they wanted to try and do, they immediately began undoing and have continued to undo with every patch. Because first they buffed Zerg Lava, now they're buffing Terran CC timings. We're at the point where builds are kicking in basically at the same time as they did before, we just have a less interesting period getting to that point. And honestly, I mean, maybe there's still going to be time to change. StarCraft 2 is not going to settle in a month, or however long it's been, and especially we've just had a new patch within the last week. Like, StarCraft is a complex game that takes a lot longer than that to settle down. There's 2 probes go down from this Reaper. Good job from Shameless. From Percival, sorry. But StarCraft's going to take a long time to settle down, so we don't know what the end result is really even going to be. But if we keep trying to patch things to fix the economy that we broke, we're still never going to find out. Right? So yeah, I don't know. But this is why a lot of people are defending Blizzard. Everything they said they wanted to do, they've done the opposite too. That is not even an opinion. That is, you can see it in the games. I mean, maybe you don't see it. Maybe it is an opinion. To me, it's basically factual from watching the games. And that's a failure. It's been more of an outlier for everyone just if you're in low masters. I think in the lower leagues it's going to be a lot more intriguing, because the thing about the lower leagues as well is people really rely on heavily thought out builds a lot of the time, right? So if you make changes, like, certain things are going to become more viable too, because people don't know what they're doing as much, right? Anyways. I need to stop talking about this. I think we're like a day or two away from just banning patch talk, because as much as it's the hot topic, and I don't help it either, I can't help but talk about it when it's a thing, I just don't think it's positive anymore. Like, I think at first it's interesting, but like, if you watch the stream every day, you must be freaking sick of me hearing me talk about it, because like, I'm saying the same arguments and I'm having the same discussions and arguments every day with different people, because not everyone watches every day. But if you do watch every day, you must be freaking sick of me talking about this. Patch talk is juicy? I don't know. Just gonna see the Stalkers actually gonna get rid of this medevac. So what did the Widowmine drop do? Not too much, considering the Reaper had 2 probes early, and the Helene got in to help. We got a Stalker though, which is pretty nice. Shameless is about to have his blink, and he's going to start moving onto the map. This is going to be a good old 4-gate blink pressure. Just needs to get the warp in onto this 4th gateway, so we're just going to see some 4-gate blink here. Percival is just playing into triple racks. Already has the factory up and the first siege tank out. And the question mark here is defending the second tank. It's an interesting map because you can't really blink here, so this tank's very safe because you can only really blink in here. But what you can also do is blink in here. Now it's a bit risky, but it depends on the tank positioning. The second tank needs to cover the natural though, because you can't leave this bunker on its own. So you get the spread of the tanks right now. Bunker is going to salvage. One more Stalkers warping in. Just going to see the Adept going to be there. We abandoned the tank in the main base, which I find a little crazy. I mean, salvaging the bunker too is obviously pretty crazy as well when this is 4-gate, but obviously Percival just doesn't quite know. The tank goes down, the SCVs are going to pull. Shameless is looking to try and commit on through here as we are going to be seeing some damage on the other side of the map. The Raven Order turret is at least making up for the SCV losses. We're going to try and fight with Blink for the next siege tank. The SCV pull is necessary. The Prism Micro is also necessary because we've got to save units here. Man, did that Raven really get all of those kills? 7 kills from the Raven's pretty nuts. Really making up for a lot of the SCV losses. And the problem now from Shameless is that you've lost a lot of Stalkers here, and your follow-up is non-existent. You're only on Stalkers. Pushing very far forward here aggressively as Percival, but he is going to be able to do very well. He's about to have Stim. Just needs to keep enough Marauders alive when he has Stim so you can actually get the value out of it. You could argue maybe we don't want to actually be fighting this far forward right now. It's a very cool micro fight. The Stalker's going back into the prison to save himself as well while Blink's on cooldown and kill the Raven. It's time to get out of here, Shameless, but okay, he's just super committed and he knows it. He just felt like he had to win the game with this, with how committed he got. He was committed, no third base, and he has himself the lack of probes in the background because of the auto turret harass. And Percival is going to take himself a 1-0 lead here in the deciding match of this competition for Group B. A really fun fight, though. A very, very fun micro fight. Great control from Shameless. Just got a little bit... At the end, it was great control. He just lost a few too many Stalkers on the way to that point already. So, yeah. Yo, Chunky James, thank you so much for the Prime sub. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Also, guys, I'm not trying to just fight everyone that doesn't agree with me. I'm obviously very heavily opinionated on all of this. So I'm heavily opinionated. So like when I see people having the other opinions, like it's not a one to like fight and argue and disagree with you. I want to hear more from the people who think the other way because I really don't see it that way, you know? So yeah, a lot of people keep commenting on the YouTube videos at the moment or the live streams and stuff. They're like, man, why are you always complaining? And I'm like, yeah, it probably does sound complaining, but it's not complaining. It's just discussing. It's just I discuss things, it's a discussion of something which I think is bad, which obviously sounds like complaining. At the end of the day, it is what it is at this point. But, yeah. I don't know. I think that there's probably a very interesting graph of people who like the changes versus their commitment to StarCraft, if that makes sense. I feel like a lot of people who are much more committed to StarCraft and watch all the time and play it a lot more are typically on the downward trend of like liking the changes, whereas people who play like a little bit and who watch a little bit casually are like, oh, cool, new stuff. I think that's very fair as well. Like, to be fair as well, like, I'm not against change, and I do think the idea of liking the changes just because they're changes is fair enough. It's just, I personally can't ever get on that train, because I'm too invested into StarCraft to just think a change for the sake of change is good. Especially in a world where StarCraft was already changing before we had a patch. Like, certain builds were becoming more popular, like, the rise of Marauder openings and TVP was a big thing over the last month before the patch, for example. Like, the game was still changing day in and day out. Different approaches were being made. And yeah, that's not to say that we shouldn't have bigger shifts. But I genuinely do think when all the dust settles right now, I think the dust settles and I think the game is in a worse place than when we started. And that is an issue, because then when we're left with this patch for 9 months, which will happen, they're not just going to keep patching every 2 weeks or something. When we are left with this patch for 9 months, we then have to deal with the fact that the game has changed. Cool, that's awesome for a month. And then the game is going to stabilize into a worse place. Right? I think that is the core problem that I have. I also have had fun watching the changes, even though I'm not a big fan of them. I also think it's been fun to, see the warp gate. I mean, I genuinely do really like the warp gates as well. I think that's genuinely cool. You're never going to convince me about it works, whatever. It doesn't matter. My concern is where the game ends up, and I think the game ends up in a worse place with these changes right now. I think that's the concern at the end of the day. At this point, I almost wish they'd also just leave it alone for like a month or two at least. Because I also think we're so deep now that we keep changing things. I think we actually need to just leave it and let it settle for a while and just see what actually happens. We're yet to actually see the full consequences of any of this, because StarCraft doesn't change enough in 2 weeks. People can't possibly play enough games to figure out the changes and figure out optimizations and change their game plans and muscle memory and stuff on how to play in this short time frame. Which is why I don't think fast and loose patches in StarCraft 2 really work at all. I think there's a line where maybe every 3 months would be really cool for StarCraft, but even every month I think is way too often, So yeah. It's just the 8 worker change that's terrible. But 90% of the other changes are all because of the worker change. Pretty much everything else that's happened, apart from Warp Gate, is because of the worker change. And then a couple of like Colossus number changes. Obviously, they change ghosts and stuff. I mean, it doesn't even matter when they change ghosts, because whatever they do to ghosts end up being either an issue because they're too good or an issue because they're not prevalent enough and they need to be otherwise, you know? So, yeah, I think that's the issue. At peak, how often did they roll out patches? I actually don't know. I think that they did like a bigger patch at least once per year, and then they had a lot more like patches which were like smaller and more concentrated on like specific things like more frequently, but I actually don't know how often it was. But it definitely wasn't as frequent as the last month has been. A couple of Reapers will come across the map, guys. Sorry, we've lost game music. It's that point in the day. 3.5 hours in, the game runs out of music to play until you relog. 4 patches a year. Yeah, I think every 3 months or so was about what we saw. And there were periods where they changed it less as well. Like Broodlord and Festa was around for a long time. Because at some point they gave up on Wings of Liberty balance and basically said, it's just going to be Broodlord and Festa, and we're going to have Heart of the Swarm soon anyway, you know? So it was a bit different back then. But I think when Legacy of the Void came around, like, we never really got stuck with like a truly dreadful meta in the early years of Legacy. Because they changed it pretty frequently. Like, there was the Hellbat being super OP, but then they changed that within a few months. Yeah. But like I say, they changed it within a few months, not like this week. Legacy of the Void didn't come out, they were like, shit, Hellbats! Bam! It took a little while longer than that, you know. And that's going to be 3 workers and a Stalker. Not a bad mind drop. Can we save any of these? Yes, we can, but it's where are we at? No, Blink's not even close to being done. Holy. Alright, ready save, 1 mine. Good effort from Percival. 3 workers. Like I say, getting a Stalker as well is pretty nice. Swarm Host was late Heart of the Swarm. Yeah. I mean, Swarm Host were an issue throughout Heart of the Swarm, though. But as Heart of the Swarm went on, people figured out how to abuse Swarm Host more and more, right? And again, they were kind of working on Legacy, and so I don't think they were putting as much thought into what to do about the Swarm Host as it was. Swarm Host should have been gutted a lot sooner. It was a big problem. Swarm Host games were also actually just boring to watch. Like, for as much as we say certain things can be boring to watch right now, like, Swarm Host truly were boring. Because you're just watching waves of the same worthless unit attack into the player who is just sat there defensively as possible, losing like maybe 1 tank every wave at best. You know, like Swarm Hosts, I think were actually I think Swarm Hosts were almost, I think at least Broodlord and Festa was even more fun to watch than Swarm Hosts. Broodlord and Festa felt bad because it felt very broken, but Swarm Hosts were just boring to watch. And I still feel people could win against Swarm Hosts sometimes too. Yeah, that was a crazy thing. Big push down from Percival heading toward this 3rd base. There were less tournaments back then? I don't think that's true. There was loads of tournaments back then. There was a lot of tournaments back then. SCV's going to repair the medevac. We are going to have the bio hit in this Nexus already. Shots coming in. Siege tank gets taken. Hey, we lost 1 tank, right? Yeah, so Percival's still gonna have a good siege on this base, though. The problem is that Shameless is super slow in this game. Like, the charge is not even close to being done. He's just dying. He attacked his own tank here, right? That's why he took damage. Oh, he's just dead. Wow, Percival with the absolute shutdown. Percival SHIN was the highlight of the day, and unfortunately Shameless is just not putting up a fight in the PvT. Not putting up a fight in the PvT. Bio going to come in. Raven takes a few more shots. We're going to take a stim at these Stalkers. They are going to blink back. Another probe going down. Gateway is going to be powered up. A couple of tanks are going to come about. Order turret coming in. Just going to be seeing the gateway will continue to fall. Again, charge is about to finish. Combat shield is going to be done very soon as well. And a couple of Zells charging in, but this is realistically just too much Terran. I mean, okay, with charge, there's a chance. You blink down. Tanks target fire the Stalkers instantly is very good. So the tanks stay alive for a long time. Now the Zealots get onto the tank that's not low. GG well played. Percival books his slot in the playoffs alongside SHIN out of Group B. And will be playing in the top 8 of the WardiTV Summer Cup with this win over Shameless. Gets 2nd place in the group. And a really good fight against SHIN in that previous round as well. Gets me excited for what could be TVZ for him in the round of 8 as well, because there are a bunch of Zergs already in the round of 8. 3 Zergs and 1 Terran so far. Obviously, we do have... this tournament's a little bit lopsided, guys, because we don't actually have, like, the Protoss players that typically dominate in this tournament as well. Like, Classic and Max Packs aren't here. Hero will play in Group D, but that's obviously further down the line. Thank you so much, Anonymous, for the donation of £8 before I forget about that. GG's. Alrighty, guys. We are going to wrap it up there today. This is a bit of a longer... It's a 4-player group. Usually 4-player groups can only take 3 hours, but this was a bit of a longer one, so we don't need to do much else. When we wrap up, guys, I'll be hosting you over to the new WardiTV 24/7 stream, so you guys can go and watch more WardiTV action over here if you would like to do so. This has been a major success so far. It's already pumped out more ad revenue than I expected it to in a month, in 5 days, so yeah, it's kind of popping, and people seem to be enjoying it, so we'll host you guys over there. I don't believe there's any other live StarCraft really happening right now to tell you guys to go watch. No. Bjorn is live, though. If you want to go watch Bjorn is live right now. He would be who I raid if it wasn't for having the 24/7 stream, so you can check out Bjorn laddering, but there's no tournaments and stuff going on until Picasaur Cup later today. I am genuinely kind of curious about people's opinions on Patch Talk, so I'm actually going to put a poll in chat on whether we should ban Patch Talk. With the idea being that if we ban Patch Talk, I stop ranting on about it all the time. And if we let Patch Talk continue, I'm going to keep talking about it. So I'm going to put that poll up if you would like to. Vote in that on Twitch. I'm genuinely curious what people's opinions are. But that's at the top of the Twitch chat right now. Is that another donation? 2 donations is wild. 2 donations in 1 day? Was that a £12 donation, or have I not reset my goals? £4 donation from Farflame. You're like 6th ever subscriber. Farflame, my boy, how you doing? I remember the name. How you doing? Hope you're doing great. Thank you so much for the donation. That's amazing. Damn, that's a name that takes me back a few. I say a few years, a lot of years. It's like back beyond before WardiTV even existed. Crazy talk. Don't leave it up to chat. Why? I think it's genuinely a good thing to ask, no? Like, are people like, do people not like me talking about Patch? Do people want me to shut up about Patch? Like, these are very difficult things to talk about. Oh, guys, I tell you what, there's some awesome games about to come up. We just started the Masters Coliseum from 2019 games on the 24/7 channel. So if you guys are going to hang out there, there's some cool games, including Maru versus some top-end Protoss from back in the day, so cool. What do you say Protoss are not winning because top Protoss players are not here, but it's only Max Packs, but top Z and T players are also not here? Cyril, Maru, Clem. Yeah, but I mean, we're missing basically... I mean, Cyril and Maru don't play, and Reno don't play in anything, so we're only missing really, like, Clem from Terran. And then from Protoss, we're missing Max Packs and Classic. I'm just saying is that we've got... When you've got the tiers of players, to me, we've got 3 Zergs and a Terran in the playoffs, right? But 2 of the Zergs I would put up in, like, tier 1.5. And we're missing the Protoss players who would kind of go along with those Zergs. So, like, it's a bit imbalanced right now. So, yeah. Human Boosting, thank you for the 2-month resub on the Prime. If they keep changing every 2 weeks, it's hard not to talk about it. Yeah, that's true. I think the problem is like, every time we're not even talking about... The problem is the new patch comes around and we're still talking about 8 workers, right? Because every change is about 8 workers still, is the problem too. Do I prefer that they try to make experimental changes even if they're funky and weird and don't work, assuming they intend to continue iterating? Yeah, I think experimental stuff's cool, but like... Okay, a lot of my negativity that people had an issue with me is that I really don't like 8 workers. Because to me, 8 workers didn't make the game more fun in any way, right? And what 8 workers has done is taken away... Imagine all of these patches and all the thought process and whatever that went into these patches didn't go into trying to fix the economy we broke with 8 workers. And instead, we took that energy and we tried to use all of that balancing and changes based on like, oh my god, we added a new unit for each race. Or, oh my god, Terran got a new spell, and Zerg got a new something, and Protoss warp gates suck now. You know, like if we put that energy into changes like that, I would have been positive the whole way. Even if it sucked, because then everything's fun. But the 8 worker was a complete anti-fun change, in my eyes. That is my biggest issue with the workers. And like I say, it's anti-fun because now, every time we balance something, it's like, well, are we balancing the game, or are we just balancing the economy? We're balancing the economy. And the economy balancing is not fun, because it's just going in circles because we don't have enough testing on it, so... yeah. It's kind of where I'm at. Yeah. It just adds a delay to a game. I mean, to be fair, 8 worker start changes EVZ. But I don't think the benefit of switching ZVZ build orders up and ZVZ being more rock, paper, scissory is worth the other matchups just being slow to start. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think, like I'm not against changes. I want to make that completely clear. I love changes, and I think changes do keep the game fresh. But every set of changes right now just feels like, ugh, because it's another change that tries to fix what we never needed to change, you know? Could we mostly keep the changes we haven't replaced the 12 workers? No. Because, well, I mean, you could, but it's going to be super imbalanced again, because most of these changes are in place. So, Zerg Lava got changed because of the 8 workers. Terran CCs got changed because of the 8 workers. That is the logical reasoning, right? So you can't keep those changes and go back to 12 workers unless you do something super crazy to buff Protoss as well, basically. But it just depends which change you talk about, right? But like, so many of the changes have basically just been a rebalancing to the fact that we messed up the economy, and it's been trying to figure that out and fix that, so yeah. Anyways, I'll stop boring you guys to death with yapping on about the patch. It's about 1 minute after the start of game. I don't even think it's a minute, but the problem is it's like, it's 40 seconds at the start, but then it slows down the process between like your first couple units coming up and your next bit of tech coming up as well. So, yeah. It just feels bad. Like, it just feels slow. Especially if you play. I played 40 games at Home Story Cup. It was miserable. But also, it wasn't even necessarily about how slow it was. I mean, I didn't love it being slower. But also just the fact that builds didn't line up anymore. Like, having to cut an SCV to go for a Reaper expand is like... It's crazy how, like, basic builds were so well aligned before. And now they just... You can't do it. Because you have to cut something because the minerals don't line up, or the SCV doesn't line up, or the marine doesn't line up. And so on and so forth. Yeah. Anyways, like I said, I'm going to let you guys go and enjoy some games on the 24/7 stream. Appreciate you all. You guys have a great rest of your day. I'll see you tomorrow for the Kung Fu Cup. Bye. Here we go. Too much crying. See, this is what happens on YouTube. Too much crying. I'm not crying. I'm just giving my opinion on things. This is what... See, this is why I don't want to talk about the patch, because then people say stupid shit like that. Yeah. All right. See you guys later. Bye. I just had to get the last word in. At least now I feel better about it. You know how why I would cry if they made good changes? Then would people complain that I'm too positive? Question mark. People would probably be like, "Man, Wardy knows so little about the game. He thinks these changes are great, and then they're just not." That would be the new thing, wouldn't it? Some people are just here to fight me every day. All right, I'm actually gonna go. Bye.